Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review, The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 3, long time. The recap, breakdown, and review commentary, and I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. I had to dry up the tears, pour the wine, take a drink, get ready for this. I am out here tonight to talk about this episode. I'm not sure if I'm going to be joined by my co-host, Joe. I got the line open for him, but I haven't heard from him yet. So I don't know if he's in a bunker somewhere crying about this whole thing, the same as a lot of us. But I did put up the poll to see what people thought of this particular episode. I don't know how much of this was changed from the story of the show, but I have a feeling from, at least from the words from the creator afterwards, that a lot of this was just show created and generated. And I got emotionally invested. These kind of stories, these long form stories over somebody's life and learning things and then them dying together. Oh my goodness, this episode had me emotional as fuck. And it also continued the line of the chemistry building between Bella and between Ellie and Joel. I thought this was another good episode for them. They were their chemistry is starting to build, and their relationship dynamic is starting to form a lot. Suddenly, my dog was laying down all calm, but once I start the stream, the dog is running around like a crazy person. But I'm also not alone. Of course I'm not alone when I do one of these things. I have with me the wonderful... Oh, wait. I have Joel and Ellie with me. Joel and Ellie, can you get off my screen right now? Can you get off? No one wants you here. Oh, no, not that. That's the wrong one. There we go. And but I'm not alone. Of course, I have with me the chat. We got the chat with us. We got Killmonger. We got Igor. We got Sonic. We got John Haymaker. We got Noah Boy. We got Apulia, the wonderful Apulia. We got Jackie Dracaris. We got Fandom D Saint Kristen. Amazing, wonderful Maud Mary Killmonger. We got all of our friends in the live mother freaking chat. And let's see what you guys thought about this episode. I'm not sure if everyone's going to like this one as much as I did. I really love character pieces. I love that they took their time and really kind of established two characters that we're not even going to know after this. I don't know. I enjoyed things like this. So I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was some excellent acting by Nick Offerman. But if you didn't feel this episode, don't feel like this is an echo chamber. That you can't share your opinions of not feeling it. That's why I put on my poll that I stuck out there the F this episode option. Because if you didn't feel it, you didn't feel it. And I'm curious to hear your opinions. And of course, I have the voicemail and text line. If somehow I miss your comment while it scrolls past my face live, you can call in at 781-990-8509. You can also text that phone number, 781-990-8509. Share your thoughts on this episode and the season of The Last of Us so far. I just thought this was such a well-edited and put together episode of television. It was really playing with my emotions like a child playing with a yo-yo, throwing in comedy where it belongs in these funny dead moments. The actors had excellent chemistry with each other. I bought the dynamic that they had and the relationship that got built because of the world they were in. It wasn't just starving for a long time and someone gives you a cracker. It was, they actually found a connection. And some of the lines, some of the dialogue was just really well written in this episode too. Some of the back and forth. Yes, it was theatrical kind of dialogue where they're making bold emotional statements, but I thought it really worked. Things like, not every day has been perfect, but I love, we've had more good days than bad days, and give me one last good day. And considering what Bill did and drugging himself to in that end, it made sense. I like the letter to Joel afterwards. I don't like you. I don't fucking like you at all. But, I respect you, so take all my shit. But anyways, let's get into the live chat and see what some of y'all people thought of this episode. We got Rakes in here too. Finding a cure, this spot. No, Nick Offerman was great in this episode. I wish we could get more from him in the series. He was really a really excellent job acting in this episode. I really established his character really well, and they did a lot with the dynamic of him. And I thought I just thought it worked extremely well. John Haymaker says, I didn't shed a tear because it wasn't sad to me. It was a sweet ending. Steph Snow, I don't think it I don't know. I think it provided a nice break from the ugly zombie chaos and showed us a beautiful things at Killmonger. And I love this episode, says Luna. And let's continue. Slim says, I don't know how I feel about this episode. It was good from a deviation standpoint, but the parts with Bill in the game would have been amazing to see in live action. See, that's one of those things that I kind of wish we had Joe with us tonight, and maybe he'll surprise me and pop in here in a little bit. I usually just hear from him by now today, so I have a feeling some shit came up. But I'd love to know, and you guys in the live chat, Slim, let me know if you want to call in, leave us a voicemail about it. Bill was a different dynamic. Bill actually had interaction with them in the game. From what I've been seeing, he has some interesting back and forth dialogue with Ellie in the game that some people might have wanted to see. So this was an interesting, different kind of take at it, as Joe was talking about before in the last stream that we did. Changes are okay if they make sense and they establish good drama, but I do understand the conflicting feelings about it when you see something and you know something's coming and you want to see it depicted on screen in that way. It's like watching a band live that plays a song a certain way in the album, and when you go live, you want to see that certain lick. You know, what if Zeppelin during not a rock and not to roll Plant's like, I don't want to say that line tonight. You know, so I get that opinion. I personally didn't have anything to compare this to. So by not having that comparative tissue, I can just go by the emotional reaction I got by the episode. And in that definition, it worked for me. But I can totally understand how you're feeling, Slim. And we're going to explore that tonight when we break down this episode. So let me get into this for 1 second. My throat is still itchy and scratchy as fuck, so we may need some musical water breaks throughout the evening tonight if I don't have Joe. So here we go. Let's continue in this. I want to hate on this episode so bad. Slim, hate away. I know you feel like you're a stranger in a strange land here. You're walking through the field and you're like a bunch of people like, I love this shit. You're like, oh, I want to say I hate it. But you're honestly probably the best motherfucking chat you could be in to be able to do that kind of thing. You know, no one's gonna hate. If you hate this episode, bring the hate. I want to hear the hate. I want unlimited power. Bring me the hate. I love differentiating opinions. Let's do this shit. But hate away, my friend. We get Maud Mary. Steph says, all the art all around the house's portraits were so pretty. Whoever did the set design did a great job. I agree with that. And I feel like one of the things I liked most about this episode of the three that we've seen so far, I feel like this did the best in establishing the set dressing, so to speak. The world felt bigger as we were west of Boston. We were Worcester. And just, I mentioned this in the first two episodes, things were a little bit more claustrophobically filmed, if that makes sense. This episode had a much wider range to it in my perspective of it, and I thought some of the set dressing, I thought the artwork, art design was done all exceptionally well, Steph Snow, and I would agree with that. Steph says she ugly cried the whole time. That strawberry scene, tears. Slim says, like, I get giving Bill and Frank some backstory together, but we got zero of that in the game. But the whole episode, and again, we're going to throw out those alternative perspectives all fucking night. I love it, and you don't know how you really feel if someone else doesn't have the opposite feeling in some ways when it comes to art interpretation. And I truly believe that in a lot of ways. And that's why I love hearing things that challenge the way I feel. So if Slim, you had a different interpretation of it, I'm not just like I can't talk tonight. I'm not I'm not the worst podcasting host in the world for nothing, folks. I'm not just placating you. I do really enjoy hearing, just as much as I hear people going, yeah, I feel that way too. As long as you're not like, fuck you idiots for feeling this. This episode was pandering bullshit. Go fuck yourselves. You know, if you're not, calling me a douche turds or something. But even that in the right context, I'll be like, oh, that's cute. That was good alliteration there, You dicky douche turd. Sorry, I had to make sure they were all. Anyway, sorry. I realized I wasn't doing alliteration. But seriously, Slim, keep it coming, man. Keep it coming if you're not feeling this shit. Steph says, and John, no, but he'll probably be back next week. Steph says the time jumps were also done well. Seeing Tess with Joel at the dinner party was so cute. I did like seeing another scene with Tess and Joel. I thought especially Pedro was really good in that scene. The look on his face, making eye contact with Bill the whole time, giving him the vibe like, yeah, I agree with you. I think this is kind of fucked up right here. I'm totally with you. This shit is fucked up. Luna says, who would have thought Bill had such a beautiful, tender soul under all that straggly beard? Polly, great to see you. Maud Mary, the Linda Ronstadt song, Bawling. They used some music from Shutter Island. Bill and Joel both are the strong silent types. Their hearts are bigger than Texas. I just love that these two random people met and fell in love in some semblance of normalcy while running in the world. So I'm just zipping through some of these comments. Jackie says, I'm still watching because I had to pause to fucking sob. I was in Bill's shoes and I love the beautiful love story Bill got compared to the game. To whoever finds this, or, probably Joel. So scrolling through the live chat, it seems like most folks did enjoy this, but definitely had a harsh feeling. The couple scene was hilarious in Grade AK. It had this, just watching that and Pedro's look across the table the whole time, like, I get it. Like, trying, like, fucking so hard to connect with them and be like, I get this. I don't like you either. I don't like this shit either. A couple was hilarious. Was that a box of Pearl's box? Was that Tampa? Yeah. To anyone that has better eyes than I need to ask you a question. What did Ellie grab in the basement? I know it was a box of something, but I missed it. I didn't have time to rewind. Yeah, the real actress that played Tess in the game, who's also on 24 and a lot of other things, unfortunately passed away today at my age, at a very young age. A very young age. I'm old as dirt, but you know what I mean. And a great actress that I've seen in many things, and obviously has a connection to the game and connects a little bit to what happened in tonight's episode with Frank. And I mean, that was such an emotional situation. Anyone that has been in situations like that with sick relatives, it brought back a lot of emotional feels. It wasn't just the love story stuff that was hitting me, being, I'm only projecting that the Frank had cancer in this episode as well. Something that there was not a big cure for back before everything, and I don't want to fight anymore. Just the vibes that they were putting out there led me to believe that that's what it was too. And as people that followed the channel for a while know, as myself, a survivor, and having a lot of family members having fallen from that awful piece of shit situation. And again, I'm bringing this down, but this is an emotional episode with that stuff, and I handled it really well with ultimately, especially, and I've talked about this before in some other shows, the feeling when you're taking care of a sick relative or a sick loved one or your partner or whatever, and you're putting your whole life and your identity becomes taking care of that person. When that person finally goes, and having dealt with that with my mom and stuff and my grandma, like, you feel this feeling of, what the fuck do I do now? It's done. That was, my life was tied into taking care of this person. But because we live in a world with friends and family, and hopefully, if you're lucky, and other inputs and stimulus, eventually you can make your way out of it. Some people can't, but you have to sometimes, and find your own identity again. Get a cat, get some, whatever you got to do. But in this world that they're in the Last of Us world, it's exactly what Frank said to him, and it's so poignant and so tragic and they mixed humor in with it too, which was important because gallows humor is real. Again, anyone that's ever been through real life death situations, that some funerals have a lot of gallows humor, and when people are dying, the person dying can be acerbic and has nothing to lose, so they're saying things that there's a dynamic about it. So I feel like they established and grew that comedy of it too. And it was such a well put together dynamic, and depicted those emotional feelings. Even if you're not connecting to the exact same situation, I feel, at least for me, I was going to say anyone could, but I can't speak for you. Not anyone can do dick. Anyone can't do dick. Only individuals can. But individually, I really felt it. And from that point, again, just as a character piece in onto itself, aside from the Last of Us game, anything to do with that, I just thought this was an individually great piece of theater, if that makes sense. This would have been a great theatrical show, just the story between Bill and Frank, two guys in the apocalypse dealing with their life after, connecting, and a life and a death. Like, you could see that all done, just their story outside of all of this. Like, just individually take this story just as a story into itself. And I thought it was just exceptionally well done. So let's go. What was in that box? Good question. I want a fucking strawberry. Hey, Brian Dodd. Great to see you. Smog that like button. Bill said it. You give me a reason to live. I cried. The old age makeup was so well done on those two. I like the game story better, but I still enjoyed tonight's episode. Exactly, Sonic. I think that's the important thing about this series. The game story still exists. Nothing's changing that, and nothing's changing that experience. But if they're going to tell a story on television, I think they kind of want to take a different take on it in some of these ways, and that's cool, and add a little bit more texture and interaction to the world. That's a given, John, but Bill could have survived forever, but spiritually, no. Bill had a great foresight by grabbing everything useful he could. Frank would have been dead without Bill. Yeah. Solis Baratheon mustache. I loved that moment where Ellie's reading the letter and he puts all the laughs in. If anyone comes near, they're going to be dead. I love that. I was happy. Oh, dude. Especially Killmonger, especially if you haven't had strawberries in a long time. I mean, Bill says it, and it's a great Eddie Murphy joke with the starving for a while with a cracker. Someone hands you a cracker. It's the best cracker you've ever had in your whole life. That's a Ritz. That's not a normal cracker. But in reality, like, if you hadn't had a certain flavor, like a strawberry or for me, it would be just in my imagination, if I hadn't had an orange or an apple or something. Those are my favorite fruits. And that feeling of your mouth filling with, you got the juice. It's like corn. It's got the juice, but it just fills your mouth with beauty and amazement. But yes, I am with that. Also, I got to point out, they handle the gay relationship perfectly, AK says. It's a member of the LGBTQ community. I applaud them for what they put on screen. I added a little bit to what AK said. I suppositioned at the end to what they put on screen, because, that's me. Bill said, you give me a reason to live. I cry, Peggy. Yeah, Peggy, the old age makeup did really well. Just the style and the production value of this show is what's impressing me the most. This creative team is great, and I am going to sniff their farts and lick their labias all night, because this show has been amazing so far. I'm enjoying it. Raspberries are black. Oh my God, Maud Mary. Blackberries, raspberries, any berry. I'm sort of a berry slut. I also am a big fan of grapes. Good. But this is where I like all kinds of grapes, but most people, I think, like the purple grapes. I'm more of a fan of the green grapes. I just like the that sort of sour twinge to the green grapes. And you might say, what does this have to do with anything? If fruit talk is specifically amazing, because that was a very important part of this episode. Fruit brings people together sexually. You dip the strawberry in the wine, you feed it to your lover. There's just something. It's a TV trope, movie trope that I'm fine with. There's something about dipping fruit and feeding it to people. There's a wonderful bit about that in the Naked Gun movie, I believe it is, where Leslie Nielsen's just feeding random shit to her. But anyways, okay. Good evening, Lux. Good evening, Benjamin. Thank you, everyone, for popping in here. As you pop on in, please hit the like button. Please hang out with us as long as possible tonight. Keep it on in the background, even if you're going to bed. Whatever you do, keep pushing it out here. Help us get to more and more people. Like I said, it doesn't look like Joe's going to be joining us tonight, but that's okay. I was due. I'm feeling better. I'm due for an evening to Babble Fest 97 to you guys tonight and do my little silliness. I might even open up Recap Guy, but probably not. It might take me a few minutes to set up a Recap Guy, but I'll set that up before the end of the season so Joe and I can check out this recap, guys. Anyways, Bill said it wasn't scared of anything till you showed up, and that's another thing too. A lot of people can probably relate to that. You don't give a shit about whatever happens until you have somebody to care about. And it's true. Yeah, green grapes for me, Mom Mary. I love some green grapes. Green grapes are the best. Thank you for giving me the love. I find like sometimes when I say I like green grapes, I get like, you like green grapes? No, that's the shitty kind of grapes. And I'm just a big fan though, like big green. Like now I'm feeling grapey. Now I'm needing some grape. Now it's all over. It's time for me to Bill pour the wine. Pour the wine. It's over. Dun dun dun. My friends say Yamakaz. Zashnabu bum da da dun dun. Bill, I should be mad at you right now, but it's kind of romantic. Okay, that's good. That's not bad. I gotta be honest here. It's been a few years since I've had wine. I've mainly drinking the beers or mixed drinks or hard alcohols. I don't think I've had a beer since actually no, I know exactly what it was. It was like December 2020 at a cast party. I think that was the last time I've had the wine. So yummy. Someone gave me a bottle of wine, so we're drinking it tonight, and it was apropos for the episode, so we got to do it. We got to do it. Phil, how long would it take Rick Grimes' group to take over Bill's compound? I mean, Rick's group would be a lot smarter. They should send Eugene in and go, well, I got to look at this setup right here, and I think if I intellectually stimulate the negative power times 10 and times the third power of -8, and then I times that inside my ass and strap it up to my Super Nintendo, I should be able to override Bill's walls. What do you think about that? And I think they would be able to handle it well. Now I was, a pair of chairs. Steph Snow making me blush. You got the peaches, I got the cream. Jay, it should be an option. I didn't watch. Jay, I know you're a special case because I feel like that sounded mean. You're not a special case in a bad way. You're a special case in the great way that you've checked out us here at the channel so long that you're a fan of what we do, not necessarily the shows we talk about. So you prefer hearing me retell the story of what happened. Lotus, lie down, honey. So I should have that option for you, but I assume you're one of the few people that have not watched the episode that are here tonight. So, but you're right. I should have an option like that for you too. I think it looked like strawberries. Yeah, I think it was strawberries too, but it could have been cherries. Troy says, "What the fuck am I watching right now? You're watching some fool." Troy, some fool drink some wine and dance like an idiot. That's what you're doing. I don't know why I did that with my hands, and I don't know. I'm sorry that you wandered in here, and I promise, Troy, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, Troy, but I'm glad you're here. Did he serve the same rabbit meal from his? Yes, I believe. I'd have to rewatch the episode, but I'm pretty sure that the meal and the wine were the same in the first time that they met and the last dinner. I think he was bringing back their first date, so to speak, and making it an extra romantic evening by cooking, the same meal and serving the same wine. At least that's the vibe I got. Because you need to pair the right, exactly, John Haymaker, you need to pair the right wine with rabbit. Fuck Rick Grimes, says Maud Mary. Frank looked like Rick his hair is all wet. Average Joe's gambling wasn't any good. Yes, I thought this episode was very good. It was a slower moving character episode and an emotional, moral love story kind of episode. Comparatively to the first two, which were more action heavy, but we did get some moments of action in this episode. So yes, Average Joe's, I like this episode. One thing I didn't like was when Bill was shooting in the middle of the street with no cover. Yeah, he's just like standing out there. He's like, "Rawr! I got shot and I'm surprised because I am standing with no cover." Thank you, John Haymaker, for becoming a sponsor, joining the crew, joining the friends, a dime bag of support. I'm going to take a shot for you, John Haymaker. Thank you for joining the crew, joining the channel members, and now you get special access to random emojis, stupid little videos I do, and all that sort of stuff. I really do thank you guys for those of you that choose to support the channel. It helps more than you know and helps me being able to keep doing this. So cheers to you. Ding, ding, motherfucker. Okay. Oh, we do have Joe Dirty Locks. I wasn't sure. For show. I just watched Superbad for the first time in a while. For show. But I wasn't sure if Joe was joining us tonight, but he is. Here he is on the stream. Joe Dirty Locks. Welcome to the show, Joe. How are you doing tonight?
I am good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I mean, I'm a little emotional after this particular episode. I can't lie. It got me a little bit. How'd you feel? Because we have some people that are out there this evening that it's split. Most people are feeling it, but we do have some folks that are saying that they missed Bill from the Bill story from the game. How are you feeling coming off this particular episode, Joe?
Okay, the actor that played Bill in this, I missed him for this role only because I really liked the way he did it in the game. That being said, Nick Offerman did a great fucking job at this role, and absolutely none of this, like, there's a note left, but like, there's none of this is in the game. This is all like, even the stuff with the video, she runs up to the video game and plays Mortal Kombat for a second, right? It's not Mortal Kombat in the game, but like, that happens in this town at a point. None of this is all new. This is fantastic. So there's a scene that I'm hoping we get in the future. So I don't want to talk about that happens in this.
And one thing I want to add is, to the people that say they wanted to see an X scene with Ellie, tonight's episode made me feel confident that we're going to get more and more flashbacks throughout the series, because they brought back Tess in that scene at the dinner. I'm feeling this is not going to be the last time we see Bill. We're going to see stuff after that dinner, see a little bit more of how they...
No, I think...
You think this is it?
I think as far as Bill is concerned, the thing that I was hoping to see is the scene that Bill is introduced. And it's not in this.
So do we actually meet Bill in the game?
We meet Bill in the game.
Ellie meets him a lot.
Ellie meets Bill in the game. Joel and him have a conversation in real time. Bill helps get a battery out of the high school. This is the first time we see... I mean, we saw it if you saw the previews, the trailers for this, you see the big fucker climbing out of a floor. This is the town where we see the first one of those. There's a lot of there's a lot of shit that there's only one thing that I was hoping to see, and we didn't see it.
And but you want to wait.
It doesn't hinge at having to be now,
right?
Like if it's an actiony thing, and if it happens at some point, at any point, it'll work. It'll absolutely fucking work.
Nah.
So, having played the game, there was nothing aside from that scene that is all like player scene, right? So it's going to be kind of hard to do or whatever, but like, all this backstory shit from Bill we didn't get in the game, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But you do get, um, you find a note in the game,
Is
and
it
it's
basically
written
the same
from
note?
Frank.
Is it
And
basically the same
Frank,
note?
it's basically the same note, almost the same note. There's some parts of it that sounded like it rung true, and then a lot that's different about the note. But the note itself is found by uh, Bill, Joel, and Ellie, and it's left behind by Frank alone. Um, and Bill didn't know that this was Frank's uh, outcome after the last time, whenever it was that Bill and Frank had talked or saw each other. And he had hung himself in the game and left a note behind. And they find the body hanging because he was just leaving Bill and he got bit. And he left a note behind for Bill that he wasn't leaving him because he didn't love him. He was leaving him because he didn't love the life that he had
Right.
with him.
And he didn't want to like put it on him or something like that.
Right. And or make him leave or anything like that. But and in the video game, the actor and the director and the game itself really manages to portray that these two men were in love, that they had a life together and shit.
That was a really believable love story.
Right. And so to get this love story from it now, after all these years of knowing that there was some fucking love story there,
right?
Somehow,
It's almost like,
fucking awesome.
It's
dude.
almost like you're turning over the pillow in the middle of the night for the first time and feeling some cool air. You're like, oh my god, this just informed so much of the game and made the game better by establishing more backstory and adding more fuel to the dynamic between Bill and Frank.
It's like imagine you've read a book like 30 times, and then like like a book that was handed down to you, right? And then suddenly you like one day you're like flipping through it, reading it again, and you're like, wow, how did these 17 pages get stuck together? I've never seen these 17 pages before. What is this? You know, like
Joe, I mean, I'll akin it to when we were younger into Zeppelin, and they suddenly, hey, hey, what can I do popped up. They're like, oh, this is a lost Zeppelin song. Here's hey, hey, what can I do? And I'm like, what the? Wait, hey, hey, what can I do? I've never heard this shit before. Right. I mean, I feel like there's, or when we heard the bootleg of Jane's covering the Porno for Pyro song. It's like, oh, this exists? Jane's Addiction did this song before it was on the Porno for Pyro.
You know what it's like? It's like the extra couple chapters that you get from Telltale's Game of Thrones.
Right. A little, like seeing what's happening more in the background. I've talked a lot about Invincible before. I think it's Invincible-ish too, where you're just getting a little bit more backstory with certain dynamics that carry the same bullet points. Anyways, we have John Haymaker, who just became a channel member, and he has a very important question. Who cooks a better rabbit, Bill or Artie Bucco from Vesuvio? Now, Artie Bucco, he made that rabbit. He didn't care if how those people were going to deal with it. You know, like he's like, they're going to eat whatever I prepare for them. And Charmaine is like, not a lot of people like rabbit. He's like, I don't care. It's gamey. I'm going to make it for them. They fucked. I'm going to say, if I'm stuck in an apocalypse, and I'm not an eater, really, but if I'm stuck in an apocalypse and I've been eating dirt and bugs for months.
I don't give a fuck who makes it, because like they said, when you're starving, everything tastes
right,
good.
That's what I'm going to say. Bill's is going to taste better. If I'm in Frank's position, Bill's rabbit is going to taste like I'm eating fairy dust. Artie Bucco's is going to be, I'm going to wish I got the lasagna. So I'm going to say, by that definition...
No. You're making it sound like you have a choice. See, you got to think of it like Artie Bucco just showed up out of the fucking nowhere. He doesn't give you a choice. Neither did Bill. You're going to eat the lunch I put down in front of you. It just happened to be a really... I was jealous looking fucking meal.
It's true. I'm going to say that Artie, being a lifetime chef, is probably a better chef, but who knows? And I'm also going to add, if those of you that are fans of our Sopranos streams, I believe this Thursday evening at around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Big Daddy Matt and I are going to be talking about the final 2 episodes and watching live the final 2 episodes of The Sopranos Season 3. So if those of you that watch our Sopranos streams this week, we will be doing another one on Thursday evening at around 6 p.m., 6:30. So let's get into this a little bit more. And thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Luna says, it sounds to me like the video game ending was too much like the Walking Dead ending. I'm glad this show changed the ending. It had too much emotional impact paired with
That's
that.
a good Iron Chef. That's what I want. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the Artie Bucco and Bill meal. Now I want to do, like, you know how they did Drawn Together back in the day?
Oh yeah,
I
yep.
want to do fucking animated
the animated Iron Chef. Let's do it.
But like with characters that like have shown cooking prowess on series, not the actors or anything.
I love Iron Chef, and it's probably all in all better competition. But I would even if they're gonna do a Drawn Together thing, I want it to be what's that show? Cutthroat Kitchen-y. With like Alton Brown hosting it and stuff,
okay, yeah, but but I want it to be like the characters from the show, like Mel from Mel's Diner, right?
Okay,
and what's her name from Friends, because she's
okay. We gotta have Nat,
Jack Tripper,
Nat from the Peach Pit. We gotta have
Nat from the Peach Pit, right? All those
Barf
battling it out in the kitchen, like
Barf from Barf's Burgers from You Can't Do That on Television, exactly. all the old school.
Who's the Mr. Goodburger character?
Yeah, Mr. Goodburger, Mel's Diner. Thank you so much for handling the sex bots in there, and Polly agrees. Polly definitely agrees. There's no cure. Yeah, I'm not sure if he had cancer or MS or whatever. They weren't specific, and I don't think they had to be. I guess I projected cancer because of my own history.
I think it was like non-Hodgkin's, or not non-Hodgkin's. Lou Gehrig's disease.
Or
is that non-Hodgkin's? No. Fucking
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It was non-curable.
I think they were smart to make it vague. It's almost not again. I don't think I brought it up earlier. I like in Forrest Gump, they don't actually tell you what Jenny has. You just assume it's AIDS. Like or you assume it's. But it could be anything. I got something from sharing drugs and they didn't tell me what it was, and they say there's no cure for it. I mean, that's all you really need to know. He said there wasn't much of a cure for this back when the world was together. And
it's ALS. I'm pretty sure he has ALS.
Yeah, but whatever. Yeah, I was thinking like AK2. I was thinking it was cancer, but that's just where my mind goes because of my personal experiences. But it might not have been. It might have been ALS, or it might have been something random or whatever. Fuck Jenny. Yeah, Jenny should have told Forrest that before they had sex and had a kid. I'm not gonna get into fucking Jenny, but great movie Forrest Gump.
Well, I mean, can we though?
Different question altogether, Joe. We gotta tread carefully on this one, Joe. We gotta tread carefully here. Here we go. We got a super chat donation. We got an amazing super chat donation from the wonderful, incredible Maud Mary, who $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Strawberries, cherries, and the angels kissing the spring.
Yeah, it was definitely strawberries, by the way, not cherries. Cherries come off trees. Strawberries come off of the little vines and like weed vines and shit.
The little bush. Angels kissing spring. My summer.
Not even a bush. It's like a vine. It vines across the ground.
Like grapes.
No. Grapes grow up like.
But I mean, is it like on a vine?
These things, no. These things like shoot out across like the field.
Interesting.
On top of the field, like each bunch of leaves shoots off like these other stems that like plant in and then shoot off, build leaves and then shoot off again.
John Haymaker says it might be a tumor, and I'm sorry, I just wanted to say this. The only reason I'm responding to it. It's not a tumor. Sorry, I had to say that. Okay, and
his whole backyard will go up like strawberry fucking crazy if he's not.
Anyways, Maud Mary super chat, thank you so much. Strawberries, cherries, and the angels kissing in spring. My summer wine is really made from all these things. Take off your silver spurs and help me pass the time, and I will give you summer wind. Summer wine. Summer wind. I'm like quoting Frank Sinatra.
Dude, give me that wine and I'll give you some wind.
Very beautiful. Yeah, you will. Check it out.
Cheers, my man.
Ooh, beautiful. Wine is good. I zoomed in one.
Wine is good, dude. Wine is really good. Red wine, especially.
Yeah, no, this is. Someone gave me this bottle of wine. I'm a diva.
Yeah,
they gave me a diva wine. It's actually very yummy. It's very yummy.
Chianti's good. A Merlot's good. All the reds are good, really.
Yeah,
I don't know what he had.
So
in the Bourgoisie.
That's my question, Joe. If you're taking the suicide drink, what are you putting it in?
Dude, I'm not going out like that. That's not how I'm doing it.
How are
Man,
you?
I got a completely different idea
You get a
about how I go
different
down.
perspective. Well,
Like Bill, we're going out like warriors. You push, I load up the fucking AKs and let's go do this shit.
oh,
Like,
you're gonna play good, bad, and the ugly. You're gonna go play.
because you know, here's the thing: you may want whatever the fuck you want, but you're telling Bill like I've had it, and Bill's gonna do like what Bill does, and you kind of know he's gonna do that, right? Like, Bill, let's end this the way you want to end this. Like, guns fucking blazing. Fuck those Fedra fucking bastards. Go home, you Nazi jackboot thugs.
Yeah, it died on the vine, Peter. It died on the vine. It died on the vine. Full stock. Pinot Noir. I've seen the bottle they used so many times. They had a winery in the shop. Drink it like Cersei overlooking the sept. Exactly. Sip of that shit overlooking the sept. And
Right? Like, no, I'm not going out like that because there's too much that can go wrong. You can just not fucking die, dude. Like, seriously, you could just not fucking die. Like, that shit can be bad. Like, you wake up and, like, puke fucking everywhere 2-3 days later and fucking next to a stinking corpse that you then have to, like, now what you gonna do?
what you gonna do, Mean Gene? Maud Mary, you have just won. I spun the wheel. You landed on an ocarina or a trumpet solo. It's 11 o'clock.
Thank you, bloody talker. Sorry.
And I appreciate that. So if next time I'm doing a stream and it's during the day, make sure you remind me, and I will give you that trumpet solo for sure, or record it before. Oh, do we have the bloody talker in the live chat? Great to see bloody talker. It's been a while. Why was Bill an experienced survivalist standing in the open with no cover with the Raiders everywhere? I hated that scene.
That's what I'm fucking yelling to myself.
Someone else said that too.
Doing,
that was the stupidest scene of the episode. If we're making the we talked last week about the kiss. Right? Tonight's stupid scene of the episode was Bill standing like this survival guy that knows about combat, obviously, that's protected himself, is standing in the wide open for the Raiders, just shooting in the middle of the street, and he's surprised he got shot.
And thought it would be a good idea, right, to let his husband wake up in the middle of the night, or his boyfriend, whatever you want to call him at that point in the arc, wake up in the middle of the night to the alarms, to the fire, then to the gunfight. Like, instead of like, wake up, there's Raiders here, get a fucking gun, take cover, take my back. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck, Bill?
AK just added that too. This might be random, but I'm the only one that's cussing out Bill for standing in the middle of the street with the Raiders. Like, bro, you don't have to. Come on, dude.
You don't, right? Even the stupid fucking, like,
have a dream.
Hollow ass poles on the porch
that
that Frank takes cover at for a half a second. And like, even when he came running, I'm like, he comes running out, and the first thing I think was, what the fuck? Didn't Bill tell you never go running out of the house like that? Like,
I know, isn't that wouldn't Bill be the kind of guy? It's like if you and me are trapped in this situation.
Dude, I'm training you. Daily.
You're training me. Day one, you're like, Phil, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I don't give a flying fuck. And if people come, you take cover. Like, let's watch these video games. You've played video games before. You've played Sniper Elite. Just fucking do that.
And believe me, like,
get out of the middle of the damn road.
I play these video games every day, and after every time I die, I'm like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do
remember
this?
Conker's...
Like, you can't go through the training enough that we'd have to do it, both of us.
You did that with me when we were playing Conker's Bad Fur Day. You do it in the zombie apocalypse. You're like, Phil, a little bit to the left. Hide behind that block. Stop. You're going to get shot by that goddamn teddy bear. Just run. Run, damn it. Anyways, he had a scoped rifle and tons of multi-story buildings, so how is he not in a sniper's nest? Bloody talker again with logic. Bill had a rifle with a scope. Exactly, John Haymaker. Jackie says, I took a survivalist master level course on survivalists, a lot of them with the setups, but most of them never fully know what they're doing.
Here's the thing.
Thank you, AK.
You can just take one course at either. It's something that you have to... Like,
it's a lifestyle choice.
And it's not just a lifestyle choice. Because like he's saying, a lot of people make that choice. They're going to, stack in all this stuff, but they don't do anything to like reinforce all the little things. They're not out building a fire like 100 times this year with sticks. No, they're not.
No.
They're like, I got this neat little gadget. I'm going to use this once, then put it away and never use it again. Okay, now I know how to use it. but like there's a lot that goes into survivalist that uh that you need to pay full fucking attention to. The little things will fucking kill you quick,
Yeah, and it's every time.
real fucking
And it's
quick.
those kind of things that it's almost like playing poker in the way that you have to do the right thing every time, even if it doesn't matter, even if and
And
just play the percentages.
and this is what got me about another part in the episode. Frank comes running out of the house and he's screaming about, it's how I show love. I want to show love to the street I live. I want a little paint on the fucking house and this and that. And it's like, yeah, dude, because if you don't do that, even your house, Bill, is going to rot underneath you. You're going to
Yeah,
have
you need to do that
major
shit.
fucking problems. Like you need to do that stuff. Just like you do with your survivalist shit. You go out and you check your fencing, you go out and you check your traps, you go out and you check your fucking electricity. Like you have to do all that little shit around the fucking house too.
So Joe,
Yep,
they
in the
were
camp.
they were west of Boston tonight. Where was that supposed to be? Worcester?
No, they
Or were they in
left.
Western
They
Mass at
no
this
no.
point?
I think it said Lincoln.
Lincoln. Okay,
The
because it's
sign said Lincoln, and in the game it's Concord.
okay. It's
I
Concord.
think, or it might be Lincoln in the game too. Might be Lincoln in the game too.
I just heard west of Boston, so I wasn't sure. Okay, let's
Lincoln,
get
Lincoln Concord area.
let's get
Yeah, yeah.
let's
It's right,
get
it's right out there by. That was Lincoln. The sign said Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Now
Okay.
entering Lincoln.
So let's get into some voice.
That dude. You know where that is?
Where?
Where we got pulled over, the three of us.
Oh,
With the smoke out of the car in the cinder block in the back.
when they made us.
Here's your roach back,
Is
kids.
yeah, okay. Yeah, when we got pulled over and the cop was like, "Here's your roach back," and we're like, "Thank you," and he's like, "You fucking idiots! What the fuck? I'm not giving you your roach
That was
back."
a long story.
Yeah, it's a
We're not
long
gonna
story.
get into
That's
it.
the punchline of the story is the cops like, "Okay, here's your license back, here's your this back, here's your roach back," and we all stuck out our hand to be like, "Thank you, officer," and he's like, "You fucking idiots! Get the fuck out
On
of
the
here!"
highway outside of a fucking like a county jail,
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot more to that story, but that's the punchline of
like
it.
directly outside of a county jail.
What's the time I am through? Okay, so let's get to some. Dude, I haven't thought of that story in a while. Area code 77.
But that's where, Phil. That's the town.
Okay, so I know where that is. I know where it is.
That's the town. Yep.
Lincoln. Phil, who plays the piano better between Frank and the frog from last week? I'm gonna go with the frog. So area code 773 because it ain't easy being green.
Hey Phil, it's me. Just saw the episode. Definitely a better episode than last week's episode, at least to me. And it was full of content, stuff that we didn't even get in the game. I will let your co-host fill you in on what I mean. But one of the things that stuck to my mind was Ellie's question: who picked the first person? How did that happen?
So that was an issue that got dealt with tonight, and is that more information? Did you get that information in the game with all
We
the
didn't
flour
get-
and
so-
stuff?
So some of what he says is in the game, of how he says what goes down. The flour part isn't, and the district, and then all the flour got to the mood, whatever it was. They went with flour because, like we saw last week in in fucking Jakarta, Indonesia.
Yep.
They talked about it starting at a flour. The outbreak, the first
outbreak
fight
in the-
was at a flour distribution center. So they kind of went with that again, and that might be where the mold started in the grain and had mutated to be able to attach itself to humans. And when it all dropped on a Thursday, by Friday people had already eaten that shit. We're already starting to bite people. They hit the shelves on Thursday. By Thursday night they ate it. By Friday morning, all over the fucking world, people were biting each other. Too late.
Awesome. I do want to make one special shout out
That
to
was
the.
all new.
I want to put a special shout out into the live chat right now to In to Thin Air. Hey, Phil, do you remember me? We used to talk during Sons of Anarchy. Good to see you. And Joe, absolutely. We only did a few episodes of the end of the series of Sons of Anarchy. If Joe and I had started this sooner, we probably would have done that whole series.
Oh, and you would have heard it.
A lot of Joe rants. There would have been a lot of Joe rants.
Not at start.
But by the end, you'd be like, another,
like The Walking Dead.
Another goddamn Katie Seagal montage. What the fuck? Well, I don't want to hear her
start
sing
an episode
again.
for 10-15 minutes and to end an episode for 10-15 minutes in an episode that was extra fucking long. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. And like the Jax walk got ridiculous by the end of it.
I remember and we won't diverge too much down here, but I remember pre us doing podcasts outside of Joe's old house, him and I had like a knockdown, drag out sort of argument discussion about a season of Sons of Anarchy that I was feeling and he wasn't. So we're just like going back and forth. So we were having the podcast before the podcast existed. So yes, and we were able to talk about that. So it is great to see you.
That's where when we talk about the actor Mayor Joe Hale.
Mail in Thin Air. Thank you so much, dude. Definitely message me, igotissuesman@gmail.com, or on Twitter @igotissuesman to remind me. I'd love to check out your channel, hear what you've been up to, man. Glad things are going well for you, and glad you're hanging out, listening in the background. And it's awesome to see so many friends from back in the old days, back in the good old days, and still with us today. So you guys are all awesome, and all of you guys in the live motherfucking chat are great right now. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Share this out. Rest in peace, Jax. It's so weird to see rest in peace, Jax, because people call me Jax. How would Sam Crow have handled the fungus apocalypse? They would have just rode their motorcycles over it and played rock and roll music, and all would have been good. The fungus would have disappeared. They would have been in any trouble. They all had. So, anyways, so let's continue. We won't go too far. Joe and I will do that at some point in time. It's about time we did some retrospective Sons of Anarchy stuff. Okay.
I don't know if I can. I haven't watched or tried to watch it since the finale. I'm afraid it might have that same effect that
I've rewatched a couple. I've rewatched a couple of times, so I could probably do it. This is area code 773.
Hey Phil, this is Tracy G calling from Chicago. So I've been trying to call for the last 2 weeks, but I was fighting COVID. Oh. But I just wanted to say,
hope you're feeling better. Glad to hear you're feeling better and able to call in and got some rest. Anyways, let's continue.
As a person who played the game, you and Joe are straight capping, which means straight line with these episodes. This series so far is complete trash. The game it took 10 hours to play the game. 10 episodes. 10 hours to play the game, you got 10 episodes to work with. They're taking literally all of the action out of the show. Anybody who says that the deviation from the games is okay, that's cool. We did not need to see. I'm actually watching the episode now, like 20 minutes into it, and I can already tell.
We're going to play the rest of your message 100% because as I said, we don't live in an echo chamber, but I think Joe wants to respond.
Prompt Phil to play the rest of it as soon as I'm done saying this. But I was kind of saying that, like, the scene that I missed from the game that introduces Bill is from the moment they walk into Lincoln until Bill shows his until just after Bill shows his face, like, that shit is packed. That is good action, and there's some crazy shit that happens in there that I really wanted to see, and I thought I was going to get to see this week. So I understand where she's coming from a lot. They have taken out a lot of the action. I think it was kind of now I've watched episode 1 like 4 times, episode 2 3 times. So far, I'm on this one just once, but I'm going to watch it as soon as I get done with Katie again. But I think there was a real opportunity missed when they didn't use Fedra at the State House. Instead, they just made it like another zombie attack. And even that bit of action wasn't long enough. I think they are and have removed quite a bit of the action, and that's a little disappointing for me as a video game fan. However, I'm going to say this. the best part of The Last of Us, in spite of how fantastic the gameplay and the action and the horror is the fucking story. And the story is amazing. So getting this extra story is really fun for me.
No, and
I'm okay with the little bit of action, because I'm hoping for this shit to like pop. It's gotta pop. And knowing what I know, where this cuts to next, if they miss the next opportunities,
you might be out here sounding similar to this caller.
To that call, right? Because she sounds like she knows exactly what's coming, and some of the things that are kind of talked about in this truck rider. There's some funny shit, and then there's some really like great shit coming up. At that.
So let's. I know you can't say.
Now play the rest of that.
Yeah, we'll play the rest of the message. We don't want to cut you off.
I don't necessarily.
Area code 773, and we appreciate, as we said, we don't live. I love hearing the alternative perspectives.
Yes.
Call us out. I like slow moving art sometimes, and I didn't play the game, so I can't really comment. But let's hear the rest.
You love slow moving art.
I do. You know I like slow shit.
You really do.
You know I like slow shit.
Things like Lost. That's kind of slow moving, even though there's some good shit, fast.
Deep Space Nine, early the way it builds and then it gets fast later. I really love that fucking shit.
Better Call Saul,
Breaking Bad. It's Sopranos even. Shit. Like I love
The Godfather.
6 Feet Under. Yeah, Godfather's my favorite movies, and that's one of the slowest pieces of shit on the planet. I don't mean a piece of shit, but it's like
you know what I mean about The Godfather. Is it insists upon itself?
It does. And it's so pompous in its.
Peter Griffin.
It's so pompous. Is that a Family Guy thing? But it's true. It's so pompous in its delivery of itself. It's like, we're giving you all of this, and we're taking our fucking time, and we're not even lighting it right, but we're still gonna kick your ass. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Yeah. Play the rest of it.
This is complete trash. Like, we don't need to see all of this Bill and Frank. Like, how the hell are you walking into somebody's house and you're just gonna assume that they're gay? Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, we knew it, the people who watched the game, but for you to just walk into somebody's house and because they let you take a shower and feed you some food, you just know automatically.
I love the call. I'm gonna play the rest
and
of it.
And the Linda Ronstadt.
but she's right. Like,
and the way he
just walked into the house and he's like, hey, I'm staying.
If they're gay, that was complete trash. Also, the action. Where is the action? Like, this don't look like it's going to be good for the rest of the episodes. And then also, I'm thinking that they probably shouldn't have had any celebrities to play Joel and Ellie. When I heard a story about Dean from Supernatural wanting to play Joel, I'm actually thinking that he would have been a better casting than Pedro. I think everybody is just so gun-ho from Game of Thrones that they're just saying, hey, let's give him a chance. They're going to bring in viewership. But no, Naughty Dog, this is complete and utter trash so far. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks. Bye.
Well, I got to say, amazing call. You verbalized your opinions really well, and I hope you call back in the rest of the season, even if I don't agree with you 100%, even especially with the casting thing. I think Pedro and Ellie are doing a great job so far, personally, and I think
I do too.
I agree with you in the fact that I don't always want stars to be cast and stuff. It's good to find new people, but I think especially, I just think they work in this particular role. That being said, area code 773, make sure you call back later in the season and tell us what you feel. Great call, and I'm glad you're feeling better. And thank you for offering some alternative perspective for, as we put out our poll, episode 3, 10% of the people said fuck this episode, so you're not the only one that feels that way. So there we go. Phil, in the live chat, Phil, did you imagine that a minor character like Saul Goodman would have created such a beautiful and tragic story? That's how I feel about this episode. Yes. I mean, we've had episodes like this in Walking Dead universes, or something even like Lost has done episodes on smaller characters that don't mean as much to the story arc, and kind of establishing more like, this is this person's story.
Right, like the cheese guy.
Yeah, like the cheese guy, like the training Morgan, but hearing basically the cheese guy's story. And I kind of like episodes like this. Let's continue with our voicemails here. This is from area code 773 as well, a different 773.
Hey, Phil, it's me. It's going to be my last call for the night because of unforeseen events.
Hope everything is all good.
Here's a question I hope you get to. Maybe you can open up a poll. When I was watching the show with my girlfriend, she made a comment of saying, it'll probably be safer to be gay in the apocalypse. What do you and your viewers or listeners think? Do you think so, or do you think no?
I mean, in this world particularly, I think the biggest problem that they're going to have to deal with is the people like the Raiders coming and those kind of things. I don't think when they're dealing in that world and they're dealing with just themselves, obviously that you don't have to deal with any other people's perspectives or variations on your relationships or your friendships or your loving dynamics. So yes, I think being yourself, just in general, just as a more generalized statement, being yourself is easier in the apocalypse, as that's kind of a big thing that Bill's dealing with at the beginning of this, and why he doesn't want to introduce someone. And I think the line where I wasn't afraid till you showed up, because the hard part in this world isn't necessarily dealing with other people's opinions and thoughts. It's just surviving and dealing with the dynamic of loneliness.
I said it's safer being gay?
Yeah, would it be safer?
Now, I don't, like, do you mean safer then than now, less people would care? Or do you mean safer in that, like, I think is that the spirit of the question? Then it's unfortunate that, that's just unfortunate that you, like, would have to protect yourself about that, then or now.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, someone just said it from like a more scientific standpoint. That does he mean safer in the sense of you don't have to worry about dealing with pregnancy and someone passing away without a doctor?
And that's what I was thinking too. Like at first, like, well, but you could always like find a child. Joel's got one.
Joel found one. Yeah, Joel found one. Someone just showed up at Joel's yard, and kill Marcus. I don't think it would really matter. Elise says I see Joe and Phil's points as well. So let's continue on. This is area code 706.
Hey Phil, it's Jackie.
Jackie.
Oh my God, I did not expect to be fucking sobbing like I just watched The Notebook for the first time. And you're
I'm gonna we obviously stop in between messages.
Yep.
We'll continue. I also thought about The Notebook in this episode, Joe, and I've
never seen The Notebook.
Okay, The Notebook is, and again, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I wrote in the notes.
Gosling?
Is it Gosling? Yeah, it's Gosling. It's
yeah, I've never seen it.
It's basically it's a tragic, and Rachel Adams, I think, is the girl in it. It's a tragic love story kind of thing that shows you the whole story of somebody's life within a movie, and those things are always super sad for me. And I feel like this episode had a lot of like Notebook vibes to me.
So this was I was ear to ear smile throughout all of this episode. And I know it sounds kind of morbid, but like right up to the fucking end.
You're laughing. You're like,
not laughing, smiling, just like I thought, honestly, beautiful fucking love story. Beautiful right up to the end. Like right after he finished it, there was pills in the bottle too, wasn't there? Enough to kill a fucking horse.
Enough to kill a horse, yeah. And what a great, and again, we'll continue.
I just thought it was beautiful. I really did. And
we're going to say this a lot throughout the evening, but what a really just amazing performance by Nick Offerman. He had so many.
By Frank too.
By Frank too, I agree. Frank was playing at first. I'm like, is he trying to manipulate him? But like, it definitely worked, and you believed their dynamic. You believed the the love at first sight, the Thunderbolt kind of feeling, the way it built. It wasn't just like, hey, we're together, let's fuck. It was really kind of just a believable, quick love story in the way it all came together. I love the hard cut to them arguing because they've lived together for too long and they're getting a little bit of cabin fever. And he's like, I gotta set the shit up. I gotta fix this place up.
And so that's one of the things that I was thinking too was when they first met, it wasn't necessarily that. So, yes, he knew Bill had interest of some sort because it wasn't exactly. I don't think he looked. Frank looks at himself like he's hiding anything about himself at any point.
No,
from the start,
he seems like a total genuine.
He's in the whole to the very moment he jumps on the piano and says, "I'll leave after you play a song for me." Like there's a lot about him giving off messages and Bill not being like, "Get the fuck out of my house."
No, and Bill was like giving him the, Bill was almost like a cat in this episode where it's like, I hate you, touch me, but no, don't touch me.
A little.
You know, like when a cat comes up to you and is like, touch me, it's like, no, stay away, don't touch me, I don't want you to touch me.
A little bit, and I thought it was very cute. I do think it was very much Thunderbolty.
Yeah, it was super.
Like you said,
they played the Thunderbolt. They played the Thunderbolt well. Speaking of the Godfather, okay, so let's continue with Jackie's message.
Hit with that twist ending. Oh my god! Like, and John.
Yeah, sorry. Before I'm gonna play Steph's nose, and I love that I'm not added to that. I'm not a slut. I'm your girl. I'm your boyfriend now, and I'm staying here.
Several points.
And so twist ending too. I wasn't ready for it either because all the way up until enough to kill a fucking horse, all the way up until that point, I'm expecting Joel and Ellie are gonna come here in a minute, right?
And that's where
they're gonna go get the battery, and we're gonna get the action. That's gonna be all next week, and then no, the battery's not there. Okay, we're gonna go get the battery, and then I made a fucking battery.
That's where they were playing with your expectations because they knew everyone thought Bill was going to survive, so it's tragic. Anyways, let's go.
I absolutely loved this episode for what it was, and that was to give Bill a backstory. We know Bill from the game. He's this tough guy, all that stuff, and it was implied that he had a relationship with Frank. But I really liked this version. As a member of the LGBT community and who's just gotten into a new relationship.
Congratulations.
And who's taking care of a sick family member who has died. This episode hit me on multiple levels. And it's really hard trying to keep the tears out of my eyes.
Don't.
It was absolutely beautiful. I'm
going to play the end of your message, but lots of love to you. Same way, let it flow. That's what's awesome about what we were able to do out here and have the immediate reactions. I was starting the stream and I was still having some tears in my eyes. I'm like texting Joe, "Are you coming, Joe? I could cry." Like we were all, we all feel it. So feel it. I'm happy that you're in a new relationship. I can relate, and I know Joe can too, with taking care of sick family members. It's emotional, it's all encompassing, and you definitely feel that putting your whole life into it. And Joe's also in healthcare; he can relate to that as well, just from his work standpoint too, and taking care of people. And even though you try to separate it, you can't help but emotionally put yourself into it as well.
I didn't mind that we didn't see much of Joel and Ellie. I was so sucked into the Bill and Frank story. But we'll definitely get more of them next week, that's for sure. There's no way that they don't, So anyway, I loved it. I'm sobbing. If you're not, as a member of the LGBT community, they did wonderful representation here. Absolutely wonderful representation. Chef's kiss. Mwah.
Aww.
Anyway.
Lots of love to Jackie. Thank you so much for the amazing message. my friend. And just such a great episode. We have a bunch more voicemails. We're going to get through that tonight. But I definitely think they did an exceptional job building this Frank and Bill relationship. And as someone, again, that didn't know anything about the game, I had no clue what was coming in the sense of having no expectations for it, and I had a similar feeling, Joe. I'm glad that you felt it. I definitely understand area code 773 that called earlier. We have a couple other people in the chat that maybe wanted to see you project and you want to see a certain dynamic. You wanted to, some people that wanted to see that relationship between Bill and Ellie that existed in the game and their back and forth that was comical or whatever. So they're missing out on those kinds of things. But for your perspective of it, you're saying it just added texture. It was like someone dropping a tab of something on a tongue, and while you're listening to Pink Floyd, and the music just expanded and made you feel good. Holy shit, we have a super chat donation. I'm drunky, but I love everyone here in our family. Toast to you, Maud Mary. Joe and I feel super lucky, and I can speak for Tony as well, and Bridge. We all feel amazingly lucky to get to share these television experiences with you guys, because Joe and I would do this shit anyway. We would talk by ourselves or call each other, and this gives us an excuse to hang out. So it's great to kind of expand, and we're lucky to have 85 people watching live right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button. We know we're a tiny channel here on the big YouTube platform. So as many of you out there that are enjoying this, please join us every week and bring a friend if you can and help us keep building this up.
In fact, what you should do is when you go to work tomorrow or school tomorrow or whenever you're watching this, hit up a friend's little cubicle or whatever and be like, hey, put something on real quick. And then just when it's on, hit the like button.
Yeah, exactly. and hit the subscribe button. Then your friend cannot watch it if they want, but then at least we manipulated a like. Yeah, that's the society we live in now. We need likes. We need subscribers. We need donations.
I mean, that'll double the amount of likes we get right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Maud Mary, thank you so much for that super chat donation, though. All jokes aside, toast to all you guys.
Thank
you guys are the best. Okay, so let's continue here with the chat in thin air. Great to see you, Maud Mary. I love you guys. You guys are great. And we got a few more voicemails here, Joe, and then we'll get into our recap. But here is the one and only Bloody Talker.
Hey, Phil, this is the Bloody Talker. I'm just going to make it short and sweet. I think the greatest thing about this show is all of the little details that they seem to be getting right.
Yeah.
One of them I noticed today was when Ellie and Joel make it to Bill's place and they get into the bunker and she sees everything. She is astonished she thinks he's the coolest person to ever fucking live. So a kid who grew up in the apocalypse, their view on a prepper is way different than a modern person. You know what I mean?
True,
you see Frank kind of
go. I'll play the rest.
So I do want to point out that although this plays really well for the show and her reaction to the bunker and all that, and just her embodying Ellie in general with her mouth and everything else is very well done. However, in the game, the introduction of Bill is not a smooth introduction as far as Bill and Ellie's relationship or anything like that. There is no I think Bill's cool. Bill's a fucking asshole. Straight up, period. Bill's a complete fucking asshole. This is not the Bill from the game. What we get in the game, and this is something I should have mentioned too earlier. The Bill we get in the game is a disgruntled Bill. I told you what happened with Frank in the game. He leaves Bill and disappears without a word. And after Joel and Ellie arrive and blah, 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 and they end up finding Frank's body hanging from a kitchen ceiling fan or light or some shit. And, but the whole time, Bill is grumpy, sourpuss. He like in that note when he says, Joel, I never liked you, or I don't like you, but I respect you, or whatever.
Is that what he says in the
Like,
note in the game?
no, because it's not from him. I think he says like, don't ever come back at some point when he's leaving. Bill doesn't die in the game. Bill's alive in the game. And he says, don't ever fucking come back here. But he still like hooks him up with some extra shit and the truck and the fucking battery. And so, like he said, there's that respect. This was said in words, but the whole time he snaps at fucking Ellie. He yells at Ellie. He calls her a brat. Like he's like, Joel, you should get rid of this fucking kid. Like he's an asshole.
In
to
the
her.
air, in the live chat says Bill is on his period. Asshole.
Yeah, he chains her to a fucking radiator and shit. Like when they first meet, and like she tries to hit him with, or she does hit him with a fucking pipe at some point. Like they're not friends. Like, or she doesn't have that like, oh, this guy's fucking cool. There's more of a like, who fucking lives in this town? Who would do this? Who lives here as a psycho, Joel?
Whereas,
kind of feel a little bit.
Whereas, as Bloody Talker says, she seems more impressed in this.
And yes, and it works very well in this, and it works well with what we've seen from what they've told her, given us from this Ellie.
So let's continue the Bloody Talker's voicemail.
Jabbing at Bill, kind of calling him, he thought all the government's all Nazis, right? But Ellie, when she sees all this stuff, goes, he's a fucking genius, I thought that was kind of a neat touch. Anyway, take it easy.
We love you, Bloody Talker. Thank you so much for the voicemail. This is from area code 561. Let's see.
Bill, the issues guy, and Joe Dirty Locks. My friends, it's Into Thin Air. I just wanted to call and be verbal about how great it is to see you guys doing this podcast. I think it's incredible. I knew it was coming to this back in the day. I hate that we lost touch, and I'm glad that we have retouched.
Touch me.
Even though it's not kind of weird. Anyway.
No.
We want to touch you. Touching you, touching me. Sorry, that's horrible. How did that become a Red Sox song, Joe? Like, why the fuck they sing Sweet Carolina at fucking Fenway? I don't fucking get it. But anyway, let's continue.
And Luna says, hold on. Luna says the sourpussness of Bill still came through, just not with Frank. But and that's just it. Like it came through a little bit with the dinner with him and Tess, and it came through a little bit when he first meets Frank, and when he's getting ready and doing his little montage thing. But like ultimately, you'd get a much different feel, that you get that soft side from Bill in this that you do not get in the game at all. It must have been there, but then you even question yourself because this dude fucking split and didn't say a word, and then like before he even got out of town without Bill, he got fucking bit and hung himself.
So let's continue with 561.
I think the coverage of these shows is amazing. This is an overall comment, not so much a question, but I just want to say you guys are doing amazing. I went back and watched some of the earlier episodes of what you guys have been doing, and this is a great setup. So I wish you guys the best as always, and I will certainly be in touch. We won't lose touch again. You guys are great. Talk to you soon. Later.
Thank you, my friend, and wish you nothing but success in your endeavors. And thank you for spreading the word about us. And it's great to be reconnected post the SOA days. And we look forward to many new shows and maybe that SOA reunion show movie thing that they're talking about. Because I heard Charlie Hunnam in an interview, and this is weird because spoiler alert for Sons of Anarchy, Jax dies, where he's like, I'd come back. And it might happen. So I don't know. Somehow Jax might come back. Maybe he didn't die. I don't know. But I know there's been talks about the original 8 series, but Kurt Sutter got fired from Mayans, so he doesn't own Sons of Anarchy anymore. So the first date is sort of up in the air.
So they did him like they did Frank and
he got fired from like the second season of Mayans or something like that. Like I forget exactly the reasons. I don't want to go too far down that road, Joe, because we could do a separate podcast, like a more of a
about why MCA steals everybody's shit
or whatever. But I'm pretty sure Sutter got.
AMC? Did I say MCA?
I'm pretty sure Sutter doesn't own Sons of Anarchy anymore. But anyways, let's continue. And this is a voice. Okay, here we go. Everyone relax. It's time for some ASMR. It's the amazing voice of 916.
Hello, this is the voice at 916. Hello, Phil.
Hi.
And hello, Joe. You look good. I missed that last time, sorry.
Oh, see that time last time she was like, Phil, you look good, Joe, and she skipped you. She made sure she told Joe,
thank you.
He looks good.
This episode was beautiful. I loved it. I realize that it's not like the game, but even if it's not like the game, it worked. And it did move the story along by showing and not telling what this world is like and having to face it alone. And fortunately for Bill, he was able to find someone like Frank so he wouldn't be so lonely. It also showed that men like Bill and Joel, this is what they're there for, even though they have difficulty expressing themselves, that they do feel deeply and that they do yearn for companionship and purpose. But besides all that, I felt that the episode had really good editing. The time jumps flowed. It didn't feel jarring. And the story was...
I agree with that, yeah.
Was tender and beautiful without being soapy and cheesy, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm going to put, you have a little bit left in your message.
2 great points.
But 2 excellent points that we have to touch on right there. That is such a fine line before, and you know I love it, but Lotus, leave it. Lotus, leave it. That's such a fine line between something being like 90210 romance and being something that actually makes sense and doesn't feel soap opera-y. And this did not. This felt so like such a genuine romance, Joe. It just really worked. And her voice is like sweet mother's milk. Hi, this is KJAZ 91.6, playing some Miles Davis Kind of Blue. John Coltrane's on this track, kicking some ass. This is the voice of 916. I just love it so much, 916.
It seemed totally believable that this could happen in a situation where the world is falling apart, that there actually could be companionship and love.
She's the radio voice of the apocalypse, or like the the gangs of New York and Warriors or some shit, right?
Joe,
like
it's going to be all right. Don't worry about
Radio Freedom trying to like turn the.
It's almost like the voice of Hal too, like Joe. Don't touch that, Joe. Joe, it's gonna be all right, Joe.
Don't push the red
button, Joe. I'm not gonna kill you, Joe, right now. I'm not gonna cut your body up into pieces. It'll be all right. Like I'd be okay hearing that. Or the voice in like Squid Game, like, please walk out there and please, when the red light goes, please walk when it doesn't go. Smooth Jazz 101.7.
So for those reasons, I really, really enjoyed this episode.
Me too.
And also, this was the first time that I actually heard Joel's Texas drawl.
Yeah.
But in any case, I enjoyed it.
It was almost his Texas draw is almost like Storm's accent in the X-Men movies. It just comes and goes when he wants. Like Tyrion's blonde hair in Game of Thrones, he's blonde for like a minute. And it just comes out every once in a while. It's like blonde hair of Lannister. Tyrion's like, yeah, I'm totally blonde. Yeah, look at this shit.
And I like being able to see the show for the show itself as opposed to the comparison with the game. Both are equally important, but this show is outstanding and deserves recognition of that as it stands alone.
Yes.
You gentlemen have a good evening. Good night.
I kind of agree with that. I like a little bit. I envy you in that you're watching it for the first time and you don't know the story, because fuck, I can't not think of what I already know.
Right. You can't unwatch something. You can't it again if they ever did a Knights of the, and I know you played the game or at least half the game, Joe. If they ever did a Knights of the Old Republic movie or something like that and did the story of Revan, or I would know what happened. I couldn't go back and I'd be watching and be like, this isn't like the game. This isn't the choices I made.
Yeah, I don't
This
know
is-
past like the first 30 minutes of the game.
Right.
If that's like 30 minutes of me running around in circles.
Right.
going
If they did an Ocarina of Time movie or something like I would, excuse me, I would know exactly what's going to happen and wouldn't be able to be surprised. But I hear you. Are you able as a fan? I know you just said you envy me, but you seem to be doing it all right, Joe. Are you enjoying this series because you feel like you? Let me like
Okay,
let's set
yeah.
this up. Are you?
I am enjoying.
I know
this
you are
series,
enjoying
yeah.
the series. Are you enjoying it because you're a fan of the game so much and they're honoring one of your favorite video game stories, or are you enjoying it in onto itself of a series, or both?
In onto itself as a series, because I'll tell you this. Last
Yes.
August, August, I played both 1 and 2 again, and right before I had played 1, I showed like the first like bunch of cutscenes all the way up to like basically here, up to Philadelphia to my brother-in-law, and even when I was playing it, like playing through it and seeing the cutscenes, by the end I was skipping them a lot because I've seen them so many fucking times and I've watched the game so many times and I know the story, and I was kind of just playing it because I was bored with my other game. But I still skipped a lot of them, but didn't skip all of them, right?
Yeah.
And this I'm watching just like tonight's episode. I was ear to ear fucking grinning the whole time. I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed this episode so much, and like
This might be my, and again, we'll talk about rankings at the end, but I think this, some people that didn't feel this episode, like, come on, Phil. I think this is my favorite episode of the season, which is weird because it featured Joel and Ellie the least. But I thought, and we'll get into this in the recap in a few seconds here, but in fact,
this impresses upon your artistic nature very much.
absolutely.
How it,
And also, the Joel and Ellie scenes really worked. I understood more in this episode than I have, and I don't know if it's true, and you can say this to me when we get into it. I felt like I understood their dynamic even more. Their dynamic was more pronounced in this episode. Their vibe, their odd couple personality traits, their back and forth the chemistry between the actors was more evident in the Joel and Ellie scenes in this episode than it has been in the first 2 episodes. Episode 1 was an excellent Pedro episode. Episode 2, I think Bella did exceptional last week. This episode was obviously all about Bill and Frank, but I think it was the first episode that they felt like a pair to me. They felt bonded. And the start of their mission when he's finally accepting that I'm going to take care of her. And I like that they probably decided to add this Bill stuff to have another brick in the wall, so to speak, pop into Joel about now I have to take care of people. What gives us, people like us, identity is taking care of people that need us because we're a bunch of Liam Neesons. We have a particular set of skills. We have a particular set of skills in this world. And personality traits that allow us to survive. We're Rick, again, fuck The Walking Dead, but we're Rick Grimes in this world. We can control things in a way that other people can't and survive in a way that other people can't. We're a bunch of Negans and Rick Grimes that are just survivors in this particular situation. Sorry, I'm soiling the show with The Walking Dead, but characters are characters. And survivors are survivors, and it makes sense. And Joel and Bill are similar in that way, and I thought that was very evident, and I thought this episode was important. Joe, but do you know what else is important, Joe? It's really important, too, when we're on a recap show to do a Oh, that was shitty, Joe. I had the wrong volume turned up, and that's really bad. So you got to do it twice. So it's time now for an actual recap. Oh, okay. Sorry, I hurt my knee. Okay, recap. Eventually, I'm just going to end up killing myself doing
For
that.
half a second, I thought you went out the window.
I thought about it. Ow. But that was our. We got a recap. Now we're gonna go through this whole episode beat for beat, and I'm still getting myself back into shape. So we got a mini recap right there. Anyways, so let's recap this stuff. Am I the only one who kind of fucking wants to see a straight animation adaptation of the Walking Dead comic completely by Kirkman? I could see something like that, especially with how successful Invincible has been. I could see him going the animated route, but I don't even know if he owns it anymore. Speaking of owning something and that kind of stuff, AMC might have too much control of the Walking Dead property to let him do something like that if he wanted to do it.
Yes, but he does have the rights for the game.
Oh, it's true. So he could do it in a different kind of way. Yeah, Lotus was completely unfazed. Lotus isn't like the guest dogs that I have here that would be freaked out. Lotus is like, oh, daddy's just being a nitwit again. Get away from me. And thank you, Luna. Everyone, make sure you hit that like button. And Jackie says, make sure you don't pull a Ted Beneke and slip out the window. Joe, it could happen in this apartment. This apartment's not impossible for me to fall out a window the way the windows are set.
Correct.
We got another super chat donation from Kyle's Fathers to Bears. That's a little tongue twister. Just finished the episode and I'm still crying for Bill and Frank. I swear I'm not even kidding. When I started, it was a delayed reaction for me. I wasn't necessarily crying so much while I was watching the episode because I'm taking notes. But then right afterwards, I took the whole thing in. And right when I started my computer, my eyes started to welt up. I'm like, fuck. And it started to go a little bit. So let me take a drink for Kyle. Thank you so much, Kyle. Bum, 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 bum. Thank you guys in the live chat. Keep getting those likes up. We do have a few more voicemails. But if you want to call on in, 781-990-8509. We will get into this recap now. And eventually, like I said, I'm going to get the recap guy back in here because I think Joe will appreciate recap guy. HBO does a commentary track, which basically tells you everything that's happening in the scene. And I was doing it during the House of the Dragon. But I don't have it set up right now, but I'll get that set up at some point for us, Joe, so we can listen to it. Okay. So we open up with a creek and a hand in a brook. It's Joel and he's stacking rocks, doing that thing, that stacking rock thing. I have an old friend, that does that a lot down at the beach. She stacks up all the rocks and leaving, I assume, like a grave or
stacking. You're marking the trail.
Oh, okay, marking the trail. I thought he might have been leaving
the trail markers,
leaving a marker for Tess, but
he's supposed to be trail markers. Don't fuck with them. They mark trails.
Okay, so they mark trails of. I'm such a prick. I must admit I've knocked those over at some point in time. So we finally see some wide shots of the landscape, and it really looks awesome. Excuse me. I said this before. This episode visually looked the best. Joe is right. This episode tickled my artistic vibe. I thought this was just the best shot episode and just really beautiful. Like the color tones, the music choices, like everything just
plane on the fucking mountain.
Yeah, the planes like on the side of the fucking mountain, Joe. It just looked really amazing. Wolf Spare, welcome to the live chat. So Ellie talks about the woods and the bugs and all that sort of stuff. And she's going. Go.
So this made me think of her smart mouth, and I said she didn't really have a smart mouth in the game back in recap 1 here, but that's not true. Her mouth is very fucking similar, almost exactly the way it is in the game in this. All her remarks, and the thing about all her remarks, if you've noticed, none of them aren't true.
No.
None of them aren't necessarily unwarranted. Maybe if she twitches once.
No, because
But
she's a
honestly,
kid for a
that
little
was
bit.
still kind of warranted.
Yeah, and it was funny. It worked. I mean, I also like in this scene, Joe, that she does the mafia thing where Tony's like, don't apologize. She doesn't apologize. He's like, don't apologize. She's like, I'm not apologizing. You fucking chose this. You decided. You made a choice to come.
Basically, almost the same thing Joel does to Bill in the flashback.
Yep.
Dinner with Tess and Frank.
Right. Basically, just speak some.
Tells
truth
them how it is.
Yeah. Speak some truth.
Now get the gun out of my face.
Yeah.
Told you how it was. Now stop being a fucking dick. It wasn't my fault.
Holy shit, Luna just added 3 more months of membership for a total of for an 1/8 of support. We got 3 levels of support, and we very much appreciate it. We got the dime bag of support, we got an 1/8 of support, and the whole ounce. We appreciate all of our support members, and we wish we could thank you with those exact numbers right back at you.
What are you doing to me, Phil? You know I'm a you know what I do for a living.
Yes. Those. What do you mean? I'm just measuring. Don't project, Joe. I'm just measuring
of
the amounts of support that the channel sent to me. And this isn't about you, Joe. This is
right. This is about the channel.
This is about the channel. It's the channel. This is an 1/8 of support for the channel, Luna. Thank you. Joe doesn't approve of it. He approves of the support, but he doesn't approve of that. That's the thing about us wise guys. The hustle never ends, John Haymaker. It's true. It never ends. But I loved it when Tess recognized the need for Bill to have his gun, as well as encouraging Frank's open friendliness. Really speaks to Tess's humanity. Yeah, Tess was great in this episode again in her interactions in that scene with Bill at the dinner, and her and Frank's friendship, their whole dynamic I thought really worked and made sense. And again, I said that before you got here. That was probably my favorite scene from Pedro tonight. Him in that scene, I get it, Bill. I don't trust you either, but get your fucking gun out of my face.
Yeah. Very
well done. So anyways, Ellie talks about the woods and the bugs. Joel looks at her. They have a 5-hour hike to their next location. So they cross a bridge. Great scenery. Ellie is more conversational now as she feels more comfortable with Joel, and she probes question after question. How'd you get that scar? Someone shot at me and missed. Did you miss? I know I missed too. And
happens more than you might think.
Yeah, happens more than you would think. Just great
you missing or in general?
In general, or
big there.
It was just great dialogue, well written, well performed by both actors going back and forth. So Ellie never got the experience, and it shows that Bill's and Frank's are radio code talkers. Yeah, it explains their code. And then finally, just for consistency purposes, they find a convenience store, and it's not just any convenience store, it's a Cumbies. It's a fucking Cumberland Farms, dude. And they go into a Cumberland Farms, and that Joel has some shit stashed there. And she asks more questions. She asks about video games that she's playing there. As Joe talked about that earlier in the game. So this scene in a Cumberland Farms happens in the actual game. They find their way into a convenience store, and she plays video games. Is there anything?
It's a bar or a restaurant, diner or something like that they stumble into, but yeah,
and
that happens.
I'll appreciate the location scouts that decided to pick a Cumberland Farms. That's good pick. But that being said, there's never video games in Cumberland Farms. It just doesn't happen.
No.
I don't want to get nitpicky with whatever. A bar would have worked better because there are video games in bars, but a Cumberland Farms convenience store, I've been in hundreds of them. Our friend's dad used to work in one. There's never been a video game in one ever in existence, but I'm being super nitpicky, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Is there anything bad in here? No, just you. It's funny back and forth. And Ellie
We heard that one before.
Do we hear that joke before?
When she wakes up at the very opening scene of episode 2 and she wants to go pee. Is there anything bad back here? Just you.
So Ellie looks around for something and finds a storeroom or a tunnel. Doesn't say anything, and she goes down and escapes. This whole scene right here goes more to what you were talking about in the previous weeks. I was thinking about this as I'm watching it. As she finds something on the counter, I'm not sure, on the shelf, I'm not sure what she found, but she eventually finds
tampons.
Okay, so they're tampons. Okay, and she's like, sweet. And then eventually she finds a zombie, an infected
door.
That's like trapped in the rocks, and she
goes into a hole in the ground.
That's what I'm saying. She goes into the hole, she goes down there, she gets the tampons, and then she finds an infected person that's trapped in some rocks, and then we see a little bit more what you said to me the other day about her being a little bit more capable than she's shown so far, and then she herself like creeps up to one like Gollum and like stabs it in the like measures out the spot and like carefully with a smile on her face fucking stabs the thing in its head. It was a pretty telling scene of who Ellie is in a different version of Ellie that I haven't seen in her interactions that she's playing with Pedro and with other scenes that we've seen so far. It shows her a lot more capable than we've seen so far in that scene, not frightened, really knowing what to do, and not being as green as we think. I don't know if I read that scene wrong, Joe, but that I kind of got something like that out of it, that she's not as green as she's shown so far, and that was supposed to show that.
And that's the thing in the game, like right off the bat in action, we see her stab the even in the show, we see her stab the Fedra guard.
Yeah.
Right?
And
so we know that she's not afraid to fucking stab somebody.
Peggy in the live chat says, of course, Ellie's a little bit of a psycho. And Kyle says, I like the lockers in the basement. Look just like the lockers you get loot from in the game.
Yeah.
And In Thin Air says, last generation to not actually grow up with smart tech, cell phones, tablets, or even Google for a while is the generation that actually grew up with both, leading to crazy smart tech. And that's our generation, as we've talked about before. We grew up with both. Like, I specifically remember in school, like when the computers fucking showed up, and we used those old Apple Control Syntax 4, like just to do math. You have to do like 5 plus 5. You'd be like 5 Control Syntax plus 5 equals the next. You know, it was weird. It wasn't as easy as just like type it in a number or something. Anyways, so she sets a barrel and she searches around. We already talked about this. Okay, so she takes her knife and she carves it and gives a dirty look and stabs the fucker in the head. Joel's got the stuff and he leaves the big gun and she's like, come on. And we get an ongoing joke in this episode, in the last episode too, with her wanting to get a gun. She actually does get one later on in the episode. The two keep going, and as Joe mentioned earlier, we see a crashed airplane, and Ellie is all impressed that Joel flew in a plane. Joe, I know
this was a stand-up bit too by what's his name there, Louis C.K. Like, people bitching about standing in lines and bitching about cramped seats, but like, you realize you're in a fucking plane.
Yeah, you're
20,000 feet in the air.
Flying in the air.
Flying at 600 miles an hour to get to some shitty fucking destination somewhere that would have taken you like 3 months, 60 years ago.
Joe, you and I are big.
100 years ago, or whatever.
Or we used to be, but you and I are big walkers and hiker type people. It takes a long time to walk short distances. Driving or horseback, it would take a long time to get through. Like, flying, if you really stop and think about it, is such an amazing thing. So to think about it from the perspective of someone who grew up in a world where flying isn't a thing, and I think they did that well.
And they did that on purpose because they're about to fucking drive to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Not fly. Across wasteland.
I've driven to Wyoming from Boston before. It's a long time.
Like, being able to, feel silly you're fucking complaining about it now, Joel, because a plane ride there would have been a lot nicer.
Yep. But I thought this was a well done scene. Again, showed their chemistry. Ellie asks about Judgment Day. How did it all happen? who got bit first. Was it a monkey or something? And which again's funny. She's a fucking wise ass. She's always got something to say. She's a fucking shit talker. And Joel speculates and says they think it got into some flour. All of it went out in one day and on like a Thursday, and it got spread and people ate it all. And by Friday, it was too late. Everyone got sick and was biting each other, and everyone was gone.
And by Monday, the world was over.
So, Joe, do you get any of that information in the game? Isn't it speculated at all, or is this all created for the show?
None of the flower shit. That's all for the show. You get a little bit of a rundown, but nothing
like where it necessarily came from.
Or even like some of this conversation happens, but not
all of it. Okay.
Right.
So again, it expands on it. In Thin Air asks, I get, for whatever it's worth, I get nervous every time I'm flying because the concept that I'm up in this giant piece of steel in the air. And also I've had a couple of weird plane experiences. The weirdest one was going into our friend Nick's wedding in California. We're flying in, or I was flying in, and the landing gear wouldn't come out. And we had to keep circling for about an hour for them to like figure out for the landing gear to finally drop out of the plane. And I definitely got nervous within that because you kept hearing bam, 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 bam. You heard the sound
Were
of
you also in like a car that the tire fell off of?
Yes, I was driving with Craig and Julia and this girl Christine and this dude Joe and this guy Bubba coming home from a Fish concert at Great Woods, and Julia was driving and she was going back and forth on the highway like an idiot.
This is like 1993.
Yeah, something like that. And one of the wheels of the car caved in, and we started spinning around on the highway like a top, like through car, like, and then we like almost crashed into a sign on the side of the road. But we it was like planes, trains, and automobiles. We like ended up perfect, like zoom. It was really fucked up. And there was another plane accident that I almost got into as well, where it was almost an emergency landing. So I completely understand like travel anxieties because they're real and it's fucking crazy.
We're booking different tickets to Vegas, dude.
Exactly. I'm walking to fucking Vegas. Don't go in the same place. Phil, did I go to Yellowstone? I did go to Yellowstone. I went to we slept out there and stuff like that. I went on 2 separate drive cross countries that were really fun. One that was more the southern route and one that was more the northern route. One of which eventually ended up at the Con of Thrones in 2018. But yeah, very, very fun stuff. I got to see a lot of the national parks and blubbity bloobity blubbity. Anyways, there's a big walking trail I want to do at some point in my life, but I'm not sure if I have the time. It will take like a year. You can like walk from Maine to Oregon. There's like a walking path. That would just be amazing to do, but it would take way too long. Like, you know, you'd have to take like your whole, like take a break from your life or something to do it. But I'd love to do something like that, like hike across, because I'm not dealing with raiders and a bunch of horrible shit like these two are in this situation. Okay, so we're continuing. They're going in a certain direction. Pedro wants to hide, and she's like, let's go. Okay, then a week or so afterwards, there's no room. Oh, no. Anyways, so they want to go a certain way, and Joel's like, no, we don't need to go that way. And she's like, no, well, what's going to freak me out? And she runs, and we see all these dead bodies. We see like tons of people that aren't infected, all killed. And we hear Joel kind of starts to tell a story about how this government organization came in and said, hey, we're going to relocate all you guys to a nice safe zone. And once the safe zone filled their numbers, they just executed the rest of the people. And even though they weren't sick, Ellie's like, well, they weren't sick. And Joel's like, well, now they don't have a chance to get sick. And then we suddenly flash to 2003, and it's a nice dissolve as we start our next adventure, where we basically see what we just heard happen, and it's really fucked up. Joe I don't know. There's nothing to say about this other than it's a real fucked up thing to do, but you can almost understand the warped logic of it.
Well,
it's fucked up.
No, yeah. It makes no sense.
Makes no sense. No, I don't. I meant you can't understand the fucked up logic of it. Like it's just it makes absolutely zero sense, and you just create another safe zone. Like what the
They're thinking, oh, supplies are gonna be. We're not gonna have enough if we eliminate another. Don't let the next 1,000 people in. Then we have enough for an extra, month of rations for who we do have in. So we have to start turning everybody, or 2 months of rations, or whatever the fucking case is. And that kind of logic isn't.
no the more
It doesn't work out right.
the more
Because
people yeah
what ends up happening with that type of logic is once you get people to agree to that, you've agreed in a you, so you agree to that, and then you're the next one out,
right or even
right? Like you can't ever
even
say okay
more
to that.
so, the more people you have, the more people later you have to work farms and get more food. Like you need to
And that's just it. If they're willing to bring people out back and shoot them, then they're willing to enslave people to get them to do what
yeah,
they need.
it makes no logical sense. It makes no logical sense.
Yep.
So, anyways, this all is the introduction to Bill. He comes out, heads outside in a gas mask, and looks around. The town's evacuated. He's one of those like hide in a bunker with lots of guns kind of dudes, and he's pumped that everyone's gone. It's my town now. We get a fun montage, something I wasn't expecting in this episode, a music fun montage.
Oh, he knows exactly. He's had this planned out in his brain. First thing I do is take the boat, turn it into a trailer.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, heads to the gas plant, make sure the generator works because it shut off, or take some gas. We get more montage setting up the town, setting up traps like Kevin McAllister, growing produce. He's living good, making dinner, drinking wine. He looks on his cam, and we see what happens when an infected comes close. He's got sort of a trap set up, and he's laughing. He's like, this shit doesn't get old. We just get kind of like a funny comedic moments with her. And then we get our first time jump where we get 4 more years, 2007. He's got this town on lockdown, Joe. Someone or something is here. It's in the pit. A voice saying, I'm not infected. And some dude's like, I took a wrong turn at Baltimore. Which way am I going? I need to find Boston. And
so one thing I do want to say is, note that he turns the gas back on. Okay, now you have
it's the gas, not the power.
A whole town of ovens whose gas is just fucking leaking into buildings
Constantly, right? Like constantly.
Unless he went around and shut off everybody's fucking gas valve at their fucking house. Those gas valves are open, like, just gonna still keep fucking flowing from there on, too. Like, you go to loot houses, you're gonna fucking pass out in a minute. Like, or you gotta break all the windows to every fucking place there is. Like...
And I agree with what Luna's saying. The music editor was on point in this game. Sonic says, I like how they snuck into the church, into the scenery, important in the game. John Haymaker says, I liked how the booby traps blasted the mushroom zombies. I would have hit the liquor store first, but that's just me, Kyle. Absolutely. But Wolf. But have a good night, Wolf.
No.
He made sure he had wine. He never ran out of wine.
He did it right, because if you're at the liquor store and someone comes and takes all the gas when your liquor's gone, you don't have gas to get to the next liquor store.
It's true.
So if you go and get all the gas and someone comes and gets all the liquor, well, then they'll leave because there's no gas, and then you can go somewhere else and get all the liquor.
Priorities. You got to make a list of the priority lists. Let's continue in the.
You got to think long term.
Yep.
You're not prepping good enough here.
Exactly. I need seeds to plant, not just the fruits, so to speak, if you know what I mean. Maud Mary, my personal guilty pleasure would be to decorate and have all my resources at my fingertips. Kyle says, oh man, that's true, Joe. They cut out the part of the montage where he shuts off the gas to the other streets. Yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking this whole town, like, once the gas goes out and everybody's pilot stops burning, and then he goes back and turns it on. Like, I'm thinking that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, there's a little danger there. It's not. What the hell am I doing? Sorry. This is messed up here. Right, there we go. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, messing with it. Joe Dirty Locks, was the music the same in the game, or is the show only thing? Do they use any of the same music, or is
Do you
it?
mean like the Linda Ronstadt?
Yeah, like the Linda
I
Ronstadt of
don't
the 80s
know
stuff.
if there is a song or two that are played that are actually like supposed to be like radio songs. I don't know if they were created for the game or if they're real songs that were redone for the game by somebody else. But that eerie fucking guitar shit, that's all game. That's the same fucking composer and shit, and he's incredible. Like,
Yeah, the intro.
I suggest you watch you can watch attached to the game, or you can find it on YouTube. Him doing the music for the Last of Us game. You, Phil, would really enjoy it.
No, I'll definitely check that out. I'm a big fan of the music as well.
Like, I think it's attached to like the cinematics in the game when you beat it, or I remember seeing it, and it was incredible to watch. Because the music is really fucking good.
No, it's really
it goes so well. It's just so like musically paints the picture of the world you're actually fucking watching.
And I thought especially in tonight's episode, it did a really great job at doing that. I need some Zima Sonic. I need some Liquid Heartburn right now. 4 years later in 2000, he's got the town on lock. Now he eventually accepts this dude, and he's like, okay, you're okay. He gives him a tester. He's got one of the testing things. He's like, how the fuck you got that thing? He's like, I have no questions. And he's able to test him, sees he's not sick. And he points him in the direction of Boston, and the dude is very presumptuous and goes, hey, well, I'm kind of hungry. You want to feed me before you kick me the fuck out? And Bill's like, this isn't an Arby's. You can't have it your way. Or sorry, it's Burger King. But this is not an Arby's. I'm asking for a free meal. And they have a good back and forth. Well-written, funny, stagey, but funny dialogue. Frank has no choice. He kind of puts Bill in a position that's no choice. He's like, just feed me. And then he sees that he has a shower, and he's like, I'm going to shower too. And Bill lets him shower. It's shower time. It's amazing. Bill looks very uncomfortable, but also excited dealing with this human. And I thought, again, Nick Offerman, it played this really well, like playing the multiple emotions of somebody that's probably not good with people before the apocalypse and now has a person in his space, but he's also felt the thunderbolt and has like an immediate attraction to this guy. And it's a lot of things that he's playing in. Joe, the actor, he did just a great job. Comedians are some of the best actors when they put their minds and times to it. And I know he's an acting, but I think of him as a comedic guy. But he really brought a lot to this role, and it wasn't just a comedic. Like the comedy was more just touches, and really well done. So yeah, it's shower. Bill comes in with food. It's a bit awkward, but Frank is like, "Holy shit, this is a real food dish." Bill is bringing in the wine.
Yeah, no, he does dinner for him. He gives him like dinner. A real meal. Now, here's the thing. This dude comes out with this meal of rabbit and fucking wine and shit, and he put down clothes on the bed, but when he came out with the fucking plate and then spun it to him, that's the moment right there where if I'm Frank,
I'm staying.
The only thing running through my head is, can I get out of the door before this guy cuts my liver out and cooks it with fucking fava beans and that fucking Chianti that he left sitting on the shelf over there?
Chianti.
Because, it's either going to be one or two things. Somebody makes a meal for you like that. Like that's your last meal.
It's going Misery. Like,
oh, that's your first meal.
It's going like the movie Misery. Someone's going to go all Kathy Bates on you and shit.
Yeah. Like, oh goodness. Like fuck.
Igor, we're gonna get to that in a second because he absolutely does that, and I want to get to that in a second because it's hilarious. It's the most hilarious part of this whole scene and so true to life. And I thought it broke up. This is one of the lines that just killed it for me was, okay, whatever, they have this whole like romantic lead up with all this stuff, and they eventually do sort of kiss and interact. And the first thing the dude says to him is like, I'm totally into this, but you need to go shower. I love that you have to go shower. Like, go take a shower, and we'll talk. It was because it's so true. I don't care, especially after he already showered. It worked really, really well. And yeah, exactly. He could have easily been a Dahmer or something like that. Yeah, like when he's making the meal, he's like, I'm gonna make your meal, and then I'm gonna take you in the basement, and you're gonna meet my mom. And the mom is like a skull.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Or it gets the
rubs
hose
the lotion
again.
on its skin.
Or it gets the hose again.
Like, there's some shit, man.
Controller.
I've seen this movie, and it all starts with a nice fucking dinner, spun on a plate in front of you, just like that, served with a red fucking wine.
Yep.
So
every time, Joe, it all starts with a nice fucking dinner. It all starts with a nice dinner. They're charming you first. Before you pass out and they're stealing your kidneys, they're treating you to a nice dinner. It's or at least buying you a couple drinks. Just say no to carbs. Exactly, high and throw. That's the lesson here, folks. Just say no to carbs. We do have another voicemail we'll get to in a second. We're just going to get through a little bit more of the recap here. But if you have a voicemail, question, comment, just want to say hi, tell us we're full of shit, whatever, 781-990-8509. Call the issues hotline. Give us your issues. Okay, so it's an awkward dinner. Frank eats, Frank... They go into the other room. He's like, okay, fine, I'm going to leave. We see the piano. He's like, holy shit, that's an old Hofmanite. You know how much that's worth?
So, let me, wait, before we...
Nothing.
Do you wait? Like, this guy's hungry. He hasn't eaten in 2 days. But do you wait for, like, Bill to at least sit down before you start fucking eating in?
No.
Do you ask about, like, hey,
Joe,
are you like one of those survivalists who say grace?
Joe, true, but the question is how fast do societal norms like that break when you're in the zombie apocalypse?
This dude fucking served a meal and knew to pair the rabbit
Joe,
with that particular red
Put
wine.
yourself in Bill's position now. You in Bill's position. Because I know, in reality, I come to your house...
Hey.
Wait.
Salt and bread, motherfucker. Salt and bread.
Okay, in reality,
Salt and bread.
Okay, Walter Frey. In reality, I come to your house. We get salt and bread. I'm sitting down. You make me a nice lasagna, right? You get a little fucking regatta cheese on your face, manicotti in your face. Now you make me a nice meal. You put it on a plate. You put it in front of me. Normal life. I eat that shit before you sit down. I'm a rude motherfucker. I'm like
no. Yes, you do, and there's no problem.
No, I don't.
No, whatsoever, because of who we are. But here's the thing.
Fuck that.
You go over to like, you have a new girlfriend, and you go to the fucking parents' house, and they put their fucking food dish in front of you first, and you just start fucking eating before mom and dad fucking even serve themselves.
It depends. Okay, so if you're going out to a restaurant, if we're going on to a restaurant and everyone else gets their meals but two people, you have to wait for those two people to get their meals?
I wait until both of them tell me, at least both of them say it. Then I pick for a second or two, and then the picking becomes overwhelming. But like, and hopefully by the time I'm done picking,
my point,
I wait.
Okay, fair enough. But my goddamn point is that, goddamn it, in the zombie apocalypse, societal norms like that are out the fucking door. You get a food served to you, you haven't eat, you just eat that shit.
Not when the table's made.
Oh,
and
fuck
wine.
that.
Dude,
fuck
that was
that.
A presentation.
If I'm in the apocalypse and I meet you, you're a stranger. Same situation. You or me are in that situation. We get the Thunderbolt. We're in that situation. I serve you the food.
Dude,
and I know.
I didn't say to wait for him to start eating. I just said sit down.
No.
Sit at the fucking table.
No, if I.
He didn't throw you, right, a package of fucking Twinkies on a plate.
He hasn't eaten in months and months and months. It's a compliment that you can't do it. I can't control myself in that situation. It's involuntary. He's been eating bugs and sticks and like dirt.
No. Because like I said,
and beef jerky.
like I said, you see that plate come out, you know one of two things. And I'll tell you, if a little fucking courtesy keeps me out of the fucking hole, holding on to a fucking bottle of
Have
lotion,
some sympathy.
I'm okay with that.
Oh, you're again going into this sympathy shit. Anyways,
No. I'm just saying you wait. You wait. You give it you let them sit down first.
People in the live chat say I agree. Joe, let me pop out in the chat.
Propose a toast, for Christ's sake.
And
to a fabulous fucking bunny rabbit. To Easter. I don't know.
to Bugs Bunny, to Roger Rabbit.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Fucking sick fuck. Nice fresh gabagool. First meal and last meal's first circle. I would have offered a chicken fried steak. Hungry man. Luna says Frank waited to be served using knife, fork, and napkin on the lap. After 2 days, I'm just digging the fuck in. I'm licking the bottom of that plate before Bill has a seat, says Sonic. Thank you. That's what I'm saying, Sonic. I'm fucking downing that.
It would depend. It would depend on how, like, we're talking like it's been like 3-4 days, 5 days since, we'll say that, since I eaten. I'm in the kitchen and I'm picking at the fucking vegetables he's cutting up.
Exactly. I've seen you a few hours when you're just hungry and need your coffee. You're pretty unreasonable.
No, the coffee's different. Like if he had poured a cup of coffee at the fucking table.
Oh, you're downing it ready for a cup too.
I would have drank that shit. He wouldn't have gotten a chance to even put the fucking pot of coffee down. Are you kidding me?
Anyways, Bill served Frank and then Frank served.
I'd have fucking stabbed him in the neck and then rummaged the kitchen for all the rest of the fucking beans. I know they're here somewhere.
Oh my goodness. Where is it? Sorry, 1 second. I gotta find where is this? It's never worth it, but I always want to do it. Where is it? Igor says, anyways, Bill served Frank and then Frank served Bill. There we go. That's the done touch. Okay, so Maud Mary, I love you so much. Last of Us season 2. We're gonna talk about that before the end of this stream. We're gonna talk a little bit about season 2. John Haymaker, it puts the Joe Dirty Locks in the hole, or it gets the strap again. Frank plays Bill a little ditty in the song, and then Bill's like when I hear somebody play the drums badly, I'm just like, could you please stop that? And then Bill sits down and shows him how to really play and sings to him and sings him a love song with so much feelings. And it's love at first sight. Frank asks who's the girl he's singing about, and Bill says no girl. And Frank says I know, and he kisses him, and they both kind of cry, and Bill kind of cries as he's kissing him to feel feelings for the first time. And they ask each other their names for the first times, which was really cute. And then
no, we already got Frank's name. We got Frank's name right at the start.
Oh, and Bill goes, he goes,
name.
Bill, what's your name? He goes, Bill. And then we get, again, my favorite line of the episode where he's like, okay, Bill, can you go take a shower?
Yeah.
And Frank is looking like he fell in the right hole. He's naked in bed waiting for him. He tells Bill to take off the towel, and they're in bed. And he asks Bill if he's a virgin, but he says it's been a long time and he was only with a girl once, and he's going to take his time and do some fun things. And Frank also says, "I'm
some normal things, slow or like." Did he say fun? I thought he would.
I thought he said fun. I thought he was going to do some like slow, easy fun.
Some normal fun stuff.
Fun stuff. His gaydar.
I think he said I don't know. It was
cute.
Really fucking cute.
It was really cute. It was really fucking cute. And
don't hurt me.
And then he said, "Listen, Joe, I'm no whore. So if we fuck, I'm gonna stay, and we're gonna make this like a regular thing." And it was cute as shit, and it worked too as well. And then we get some fun. Then we have a quick cut to 3 years later, which I thought this was the most beautiful, perfect cut to symbolize a real relationship. We get like the initial moment of them being all excited and romantic-y, having their first night together. And then we get a quick cut to 3 years later where they're arguing about wallpaper or something. They're like,
what's the state of the street? Like the overgrown everything. Like, I don't want to live in that.
Yeah, and I got to make this town better. If I'm living here, I need to fix up the stores. I need to make this a much better living situation. And Frank,
and 3 years is a long. And like 3 years is a long time to say like.
And
say that.
And this becomes the weird part of things, or the more risky part, Joe. And I guess just from an apocalyptic survival standpoint, Frank wants to make friends. He wants to reach out, invite random people to town, and hang out and become buddies. How do you feel about that, Joe?
I am 100% in Bill's boat.
Yeah. On this one, Bill cannot be more correct.
Because here's the thing. Yes, I need that stuff. But I also, presumably lived in Lincoln long enough where I know where 3 fucking Lowe's, 3 fucking Home Depots, if this were a few years ago, Somerville Lumbers and fucking True Values and all these other fucking places where I can get these materials myself. Go fuck yourself, Joel.
Yeah.
Did you notice like right after Joel says that, there's no longer a gate across one of the streets. It's a bunch of stacked fucking cars.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stacked cars. Yeah.
How did he get the cars stacked up?
Yeah.
Because he's a very capable fucking person.
And he's got
I don't need your fucking galvanized steel fucking.
Oh, maybe. And then he's got like the electro Pikachu fence and shit going on there. Yeah, he doesn't need much. Indie Comics Key says, I feel like I'm having problems getting into the show. I completely understand that too. I think if you are such a huge fan of the video game that you've played it so many times and you're focused on that story, maybe it seems redundant to you because you're so familiar with the story, so it can maybe have trouble getting into it on that end. And if you've never seen this before, I think this probably plays better, even though I'm enjoying it as a first timer. I would assume in general it plays better for people that are like you, Joe, because I'm jealous of you, that you know the material and you can see the swerves coming. So you're watching it on 2 levels, to quote, rest in peace to our great friend Jen. You're watching it on like 2 different levels, man.
And here's the thing. Anybody that's got zombie show, zombie movie, zombie theme fatigue
isn't going to help.
This isn't necessarily going to be something that, or if you're just like apocalyptic world fatigued because there's so many movies and so many shows that are about this kind of thing as well, that it might get hard for you to get into. Yeah. Also, with all the hype and talk that went into the games, and now leading up to the show.
Now that this is the next great HBO series and getting all the credit, the first 2 weeks being the top. We talked last week about being second all-time in HBO premieres. After 2 weeks, it's number 1 after 2 weeks of any show in HBO history. So
and you got to feel like another show I have to like. You haven't seen it? Oh, what? You don't watch it? You don't love it?
Oh, is this just like a Mandalorian with Pedro taking a kid again? Is it just the same thing again? It's like a one place for one place. Is like Frodo in the ring and he has to drop her in a mountain or something? I don't know.
Just all those people who after 3-4 seasons hadn't watched Game of Thrones yet, 5 seasons, hadn't watched it yet. For how many years? Why haven't you? What haven't you? What's the matter with you? Oh my God, you gotta watch it.
And this is just another. So I totally understand it. And Indy also has. Does anyone own a Last of Us comic book? I'm sure there is one. I don't think Joe owns one, but I bet there is a Last of Us comic. We got the amazing, wonderful, beautiful Anna from Red Lipstick Club in the live chat. Hey friend, loving the show and glad you're doing an after show. Miss you as well, Anna. We'll have to make sure we do something soon and have an excuse to have you on again to talk about something.
So
I'm sorry, Joe. They announced Red Lipstick Club. They announced Only Murders in the Building season 3. A couple of additions to the cast. Paul Rudd's going to be a big part of the next season, and so is what's her name? Meryl Streep is going to be on the next season. Anyways, Joe, sorry, what were you going to say?
So I don't think there is a Last of Us comic book, but they might have done a comic book of the comic book that's featured in the first game. That I'm still not sure about either.
So like creating some in-world stuff that adds to the texture of the world. Mark A. Houston, we cannot rush this goddamn process.
Don't quote me on that.
And Kyle says, Joe was right. We'd be heading for Eckhart's drugstore in Kmart. This contrary to Bill's conspiracy theory, he needs Frank to show him the truth. And Maud Mary, this show is better than House of the Dragon. Fucking fight me. They can't wait.
You know what, Maud Mary? I don't have to fight you. In fact, I got you back. You fight the people in front. I'll fight the people coming at you from the back, because I think it's much better than that too.
And
hands down.
And Joe is feeling
acting, set, filming, CGI usage, everything so far has been far better. Right down to like any little object that I've seen doesn't look fake or produced solely for use in the show.
Joe, are you ready for another voicemail? Let's hear it. This is area code 309.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? Good evening. This is Slim Genzi from the chat.
Oh, welcome, Slim.
I was just calling to tell you, like, I wasn't a big fan of the episode.
No worries.
For the most part, like, I think part of that predicates on the fact that we didn't get to see the scene that Joe talked about. Like, I like that we get a backstory on Bill and Frank, for sure. I like that, but like half an hour, 45 minutes of it maybe, not the whole episode. And then with that interaction between Bill and Frank, it could have segued into in the game when Joel and Ellie first interact with Bill. And then everything after that would have been really good TV.
I'm going to play the rest of your message, but I want to touch on that point with you, Joe, for a second. Do you like not saying anything about the backstory? I get what you're saying about the 45 minutes or whatever, but I enjoyed it. Could they have, do you enjoy the swerve of having Bill commit suicide with Frank rather than being alive when Joel and Ellie showed up? Would you have rather them kept Bill alive, or do you like the swerve?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I think they're going to do. Okay. We're meeting a couple of characters coming up. And so what we know about this world and what we're going to get coming up, I hope. And this next episode, I believe, is going to be the action that you are all fucking looking for. And my prediction is the final scene of that episode.
Episode 4.
Of episode 4 will be, or at least in there, but I'm thinking the final scene of it will be the introduction scene that we got from the game with Bill, but as an introduction scene for 2 other characters that we meet in this journey.
Interesting. So I can't wait. We're continuing here about halfway through our episode recap, and we can't wait to talk about the rest of the season. If you're joining us tonight, make sure you hit that like button. Keep joining us every week after every episode. And not only that, we'll be back next season as well, doing every episode for season 2 of The Last of Us that was just announced. They already renewed it for season 2. It is happening, and it will go to the second game and get all of that. We won't talk too much about that right now, but Joe and I will be back next season doing recaps of season 2. So strap on in. We're here for a nice long ride of The Last of Us, and
I'll do it until no matter what way this show goes.
Exactly.
Whether I like it or not, I will.
We're locked in. Exactly. We're locked in. We will be doing recaps for the entire Last of Us. So if you're a fan of The Last of Us or enjoy just talking about it afterwards, and you're not a fan and you like to like watch it and just talk about it, like expel some of that energy out, we're going to be here after every episode. Keep the calls coming, keep the talk coming, and let's keep this episode going.
And so hold on, Kyle, father to bears. Oh snap, Joe's probably right. And I'll tell you why I think that plays better for their introduction than the way it happens in the game, because in that moment, I feel like Joel just does what Joel's supposed to do. Joel does what Joel does.
Now,
always does.
Now you can't see this, Joe, but we're putting something across the screen right now that we always know that Joe is always right. So you say
I don't think I've ever been right once, but
Joe,
especially in a prediction.
if I am right 51% of the time, I'm happy. That's all I'm trying for. That's my goal. I want to be right 51% of the time. That's all. That's all. I'm not asking for a lot. That's my goal.
I
Let's
don't care if I'm right 51% or 1%, as long as I end up with the correct information at the end.
or as long as you have enough syntax going in your brain, synaptic response in your brain to have an opinion. Like, I mean, I think that's the most important thing. As long as I can formulate an opinion, I don't care if I'm right or wrong. Yeah, I just don't want to be like, oh. Anyway, but even that's kind of funny. How many video games were there for The Last of Us? Black Widow's sister could be that girl in season 2. Red Listed. Oh, she's talking to Luna.
How many video games? So there was number 1, The Last of Us. Then there was an add-on for it called Left Behind, which was more of like the gameplay. Then there was a Factions multiplayer add-on that came with it eventually, and that was a multiplayer like 5-on-5s or 4-on-4s rather, and or something like that. And then after that came The Last of Us 2, and there's possible 3 on the way, and there's a possible
multiplayer
multiplayer on the way.
Yeah.
Now those are the games that have come out and have like all the original titles, and then they've remastered The Last of Us, and then they remastered it or remade it again with the Unreal Engine for this release.
And Sonic asks Phil and Joe, would you rather release one episode a week or all the times like Netflix? For my watching purposes, I would much rather all at once, but for what we do here,
it's much better this way.
It's much better this way. I hate covering the Netflix series on here.
At once.
I don't
do 10 episodes.
Do we
talk about them.
We've done it many different ways. We've done one big podcast or one big stream after binging the whole thing with Cobra Kai twice. With Jessica Jones, we tried 2 episodes at a time and like came off and like over the course of 2 or 3 days, and none of it seems right. None of it seems right. There's no good way to cover those Netflix series. We've done, I think the best way is to binge watch the whole thing and then just cover it, but then you miss out on little things that you break apart. We wouldn't be, if we were talking about the whole season of The Last of Us, we wouldn't be talking about the Bill trying to manage his resources and Frank being like, well, I need pretty things to fix up the stores. Like
or the prediction that I just made.
Exactly. We'd be
about next episode.
We'd be talking about, well, that Bill and Frank thing was really cool, and this was a really good episode, and it really worked. On to the next episode. You know, and we'd be talking about the overall theme of the thing. So I think from a streaming standpoint and breaking shit down and having fun talking about it with Joe and Tony and everything, this is much better.
But I don't want to have to wait. I want to watch the whole thing.
Right, but but if I'm a fan of something, the way I want to watch something is if I didn't do this, if we didn't do any of this, Joe, I would wait to watch things and binge it all at once. I would wait till everything was over, and I did. In those few years that I lived in Levitt Street, and we weren't doing this, and I was doing my radio show, and I wasn't really talking about TV. I didn't watch so many TV shows because I was waiting for them to be finished to binge watch the whole show, because I got into binging and I was like, that's how I want to watch stuff. So yeah. So it's a double answer.
I'm gonna wait
question.
for the DVD set.
Exactly, something like that. But yes, Killmonger, when I binge, I forget things more, but and I'll like fall asleep during episodes and like try to push through, and it makes rewatches better because you're like, oh, I forgot that this happened. But I think in general, there's a good vibe about watching things week to week. But what I feel like I wish something like Netflix did, one adaptation to it. Like some of the channels, like, you know, like The Boys or Invincible, Amazon will release 3 episodes and then they'll go week to week. I would rather them take 10 days and release a new episode every day for 10 days. For 10 days.
I like that idea. I also think that if they're going to do streamed full season drops, they should be every 6 months, not every year.
Yeah.
I also think that, like you said, I forgot what I was going to say. I didn't want to interrupt
At least I didn't interrupt you there to make you forget what you were gonna say.
No.
I feel better about myself. Think about it while we listen to a quick voicemail from Jay, and see if it pops in your head.
Does The Last of Us as a game have more than one? And if so, is one of them a game where it starts out as like you're like a dude going around that was like, think a former criminal or something, and then the world breaks out into a zombie apocalypse and you start taking care of like a little girl, and like your decisions like in the game that make it depending on how it goes or whatever, and he dies at the end, and then the second one you're the little girl.
No, I think you're thinking of a Telltale game. You're thinking of the Walking Dead Telltale game. Specifically, you're thinking of Lee.
Yes.
Lee in the Walking Dead Telltale game. But yeah.
I remember what I was going to say too. It's so one of the things I do like about weekly as well, for a good show, rather than whole drop all at once for the season, is when a season comes out all at once on Netflix or one of these, I will watch it, and then in a month or 2 or 3 or 6 months or a year, I'll watch it again. But with this, I've watched the first episode 4 times, second episode 3 times.
Yeah.
Joe, and I'm about to watch this for the second time.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with you. There's something about maybe it's institutionalizing because of the years of doing this and having to go through this for TV and watch things week to week like this. But I'm sort of institutionalized to know I have to wait a week to watch an episode, and there's a like taking it in, thinking about it, analyzing it, watching it a couple times. Like I almost enjoy that process, but it's still torturous. It's almost like I like to deny myself things, like waiting to eat and then having a big meal. It's an event. I like that feeling of Sunday nights is an event television, and you're getting ready to watch something.
But like that's just it. By doing it, getting to do this and watch the episode over and over again, like, so the voice of Area Code.
She actually just left a voicemail. It's funny you said that.
I watched last week's episode again with Katie, and I paid specific attention to Ellie's affect like she wanted. And I'll tell you, I saw a lot of expression, a lot of subtle expression, and a lot of, like, at the end, the very last scene when she's standing there alone and the fucking Capitol's on fire behind her, like, she's now alone. Like, not just standing there, but, like, alone. The last thing, like, one of the last things she's told about Joel is, this is the guy that wants to shoot you. And then Tess has to beg for him to, like, keep going with her and shit, like, and then he, like, storms off, leaves her there, standing there, like, and like the expression she makes, it's there.
Yeah, it works.
I see it all,
Joe.
So, like,
I just want to, just because I love the nickname and the name on YouTube, and really fucking amazing.
SM Down?
No, SM Down's got SM Down. We'll get to it in a second, but Darth Pikachu says just hi, you dirty locks. But I love the picture, like, yeah, like the little avatar of the dark Pikachu in Sith uniform. And let's continue with our stuff here. Phil, I want other streaming services to adapt Netflix way, and I expect to have all the episodes at once. Love will abide. Take things in stride. Sounds good advice. There's no one on my side. At the time he washes clean. Loves wounds unseen. That's what someone told me, but I don't know what it means. Maud Mary, I love that you're throwing in lyrics tonight. Beautiful stuff for a beautiful episode and a beautiful motherfucking chat. Let's continue here. Bill says I see we have a voicemail from 916 that we'll get to in a second. Bill says we don't have friends. Frank's been talking on the radio with a nice woman. And then we hard cut to an scene that we've talked about a bunch tonight. So again, most of this we talked about, so we're just sort of pinpointing it.
Friends are dangerous, man. Friends are
Friends
man.
complicate shit, dude. Like, I love you guys. I love my friends that I've made a long time ago, and we've
like friends then are like in
friends
that
now
world
in real dude friends now in real
are
life
a lot.
there are a lot. It's complicated. The reason why you, me, and Nick and Matt and Eli, like we all all stay friends is because we know how to stay away from each other, like like we don't deal with it. We all have our own lives with other people and other acquaintances that we interact with, or work people that we interact with, to have that everyday shit, and we've stayed friends for 30, 40 years, whatever, because we know when to stay the fuck away from each other. Like, you and me live a block from each other. We see each other 3 times a year. Like we know how to maintain our friendships. Like having friends is a lot. Like making friend dates and having commitments, and it's a lot. It's a lot, Joe. It's a lot. And in this world, it's dangerous.
Yes.
So, as I said, everybody, if you want to call on in, 781-990-8509. If you left a comment in the live chat asking me a question or making some sort of comment that I missed and you don't want to call in, you can also text that number, 781-990-8509, to be like, Phil, you missed this comment. I want to make sure you get it. You can do that, or obviously you can also be awesome enough and give a super chat, and we'll make sure we see that comment that way too. But I feel like I've missed a ton of awesome live motherfucking chats tonight because you guys have been incredible. But keep it coming, keep the likes coming, keep pushing this as we keep going tonight, talking about this episode of The Last of Us. Oh yeah, I did cut off your voicemail, buddy. What was your voicemail, Slim? What was the what was the area code? Was it 309? I think I did cut off your voicemail.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? Good evening. Segued in the game when Joel and Ellie first interact with Bill. And then everything after that would have been really good TV in itself. So we could have gotten 2 different aspects into the show to where it would have appeased game lovers, and then the people that aren't the game lovers and have just liking the show itself. Because we miss out on the interactions between Bill and Ellie. They have the same mouth, like they kind of interact with each other the same. We would have gotten the hardened Bill from the game that we saw in the show, and we would have had the backstory to kind of the reason why he got to that point.
Yeah.
Which I know is just still different from how they depicted it with Frank's death. But anyways, love you guys. Later.
Love you too, buddy. And I'm sorry I didn't get back to your message before. Sometimes we're a bunch of Wayne's Worlds here. But I mean, I definitely agree with the concept of what you're saying, being ignorant to it. I can ignorant to the game, but I understand what you're saying. Like, in your perspective, you're wishing you got a little of both. You're wishing that you got the backstory, maybe not as indulgent in the backstory, and you're wishing that you got the same interactions with Bill and Ellie that you got in the game because you're looking forward to seeing those interactions on screen. And that, I can 100% understand where you're coming from, Slim. And I'm glad I got to play the rest of your message. I'm sorry that I cut it off before.
See, I think we still, like somebody said, we still get that kind of gruff Bill in this version.
We do, but I guess you don't get the Ellie-him interaction for people that wanted that.
And I would trade that for the Bill and Frank story.
Fair.
The way, and like Maud Mary is saying, and even with the way it ended. Because here's the thing. This story is filled with so many gruff, grumpy, miserable fucking dicks or miserable fucking good guys that we didn't necessarily need her to have to interact with yet another one.
Yeah, no, fair. Very fair. Very fair. I can, on this one, I know I always try to walk the fence, but on this one, I can kind of see both sides of it. Bill says we don't have friends. Talking to a nice woman, we hard cut to this lunch with Joel and Tess. And Frank just has his gun at the dinner. I mean, Bill has his gun at the lunch the whole time. And he keeps intermittently picking it up and pointing it.
Like he's trying to use it as the fork on his first plate.
Yeah, dude, I love it.
He's like Crocodile Dundee or some shit, stabbing at food with a big knife, but it's like his gun. It's like, oh, it doesn't work.
I'm sorry. He keeps apologizing about it too. He's like, I'm sorry. He's pissed, and Joel is like, dude, I get it. He keeps saying, I get it. And Joel basically says, I understand, but your fence is shit. I can help you out here, but get that fucking gun out of my face. And he tells him he doesn't need him. Tess and Frank talk about their code on the radio, as we hear earlier, like the 80s songs and stuff. Joel explains to him that, you got a good setup for the infected. They're not going to get in here. And Fedra's not going to come up this far. You're fine with them, but the Raiders will come. They'll come at night, and your fence and traps won't stop them. And Bill's like, you don't understand. We're fine. So then we get 3 more years later in 2013.
But now the cars are stacked up around fucking town.
Exactly. That's my first note, Joe. The fences is like cars now, and I think he probably upgraded it to the Darth Pikachu fence. And Bill and Frank are doing laps. Frank's got a surprise. He traded a gun for some seeds, and they got some strawberry fruits. And I wrote in here, just great acting. Bill says he's sorry that he's getting older. And he says older, we're still here for each other. Bill's now afraid and was never afraid before. We got more to lose. They kiss and they eat strawberries, and it's really good. So then the night comes and the Raiders are coming in the rain. And one night Frank's up there. He wakes up. He's looking for Bill. And we talked about this scene before too, Joe. We see Bill in the middle of the street shooting his gun, and he ends up getting shot.
And he's in the middle of the street. He's no cover, and I'm not sure, but I think we see Bill with a tattoo, and it looks like a military tattoo too.
Yeah. So why aren't you ducking covering right here, buddy? But whatever. So Frank carries him inside, and Bill, it seems like he died or passed out. He just passed out, and we cut again, and it's 10 years later. Bill is alive and well, but Frank's in a wheelchair, and he's painting. The boys are slower, but
and it's funny too because Bill says to Frank, "Did you say this?" He says to him, he apologizes to Frank for getting older faster than him, right before they're about to fuck on the strawberries. And Frank's like, "Oh no, I like it. It makes for blah blah blah." No, let's not fuck on the strawberry.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, I forgot that part. Yeah, let's move. Let's not crush the strawberry bush.
And so then when they cut, and we see something very different than that, and
because at first, Joe, when they first cut, I thought that it was Bill in the wheelchair.
Yep.
And Slim says, we also didn't get the natural defense of the infected around Bill's compound that's apparent in the game. Not saying we should have gotten it to the extent, but it wasn't even addressed. Bill tells Frank to call Joel to protect him. So 10 years later, Bill's alive. Frank's in a wheelchair. He's painting. The boys are slower, but they still love each other, winking and playing. They have a good dinner. Frank needs to take his pills. The way Bill is taking care of him is cute. He helps him to bed. They're protecting each other. Bill wakes up and Frank's in the chair looking at him, and he decides, this is my last day alive. I'm sick. I don't want to deal anymore. And they make some comment, a funny comment about door-to-door salesman. But again, they keep a humor. Gallows humor is real. I was saying this before you got on the stream tonight, Joe. One thing that I loved about this episode, through some of the tragedy, there was a lot of gallows humor. And anyone who's really been through tragedy knows that some of the way you get through it, through friends and family and through loved ones, is through that gallows humor. And it's the only way you survive.
One of the things I like about this too is it's the way he says what's about, like the way he goes through, like, this is the way the day is going to go. I really liked that, and it reminded me a lot of the way Tess treated Joel.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that, you can just see it in this kind of relationships that exist in this world. You can see those parallels. And I also really liked this line, and I thought,
and didn't she even say to Joel in the episode, like, I never asked for anything. I never asked for you to feel the way I feel or for anything from you. Didn't she say that at some point to Joel? Something along those lines?
Something.
And doesn't he say that to him 3 years in? Like, have I ever asked you for anything? Now paint the fucking house.
Yeah, now paint the fucking house, motherfucker. Something like that. He says, and I love this. This is one of those real real love kind of moments where he's like, every day's not perfect with you, but I've had more good days with you than anyone else in the world. Let's have one last good day. Make me food, wear what I want you to wear. Let's get married, cook me a good dinner, and then crush up pills and let me die in our bed. Love me the way I want to love and let me die. And honestly, Joe, I'm pouring some wine for that. Romantic as shit. And actually really works. Let's listen to or we might get another one, but let's listen to area code 916.
Hello, Phil and Joe. This is 916 again.
Hi.
You know, as I was reviewing and thinking about the series as a whole, there are some challenges with watching the show because there's so much hype behind the show, as well as 9 out of 10 YouTube channels are covering it.
Yep.
So it's a fine line that us viewers and non-game players have to walk, because we don't want to get burnt out on too much information at once or just so much stuff coming at us that we lose interest in the show. And by the way, I have seen the game played. I haven't played it myself. I do know what's coming, but I do like the subtle changes that have been made, just like with Fire and Blood.
Mm-hmm.
And the Song of Ice and Fire, the subtle changes that were made, at least up until season 5. I got to slam the ending.
I love
but
that.
Anyway, it's just that thin line that us viewers have to walk because of the oversaturation of information and everything else coming at us.
Yeah.
But I'll always watch you. And I'll always
thank
watch Joe, and I will always watch Tony.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
But that's very true, Joe. And it's that the expectations that people have for this show going in are huge. And there's a lot of hype surrounding it in the people like you and the other people that are huge fans of the game series. So for people that are coming in naked, you sort of have to tread carefully.
And even for me, like, there was so much hype, and I put so much hype on it for myself.
Yeah.
And
yes,
then I heard casting, and I was like, oh my God. Like, and I'm pretty sure no matter who they said was going to be casted in any of these roles, that my reaction would have been the same, which would have been, oh my God, I don't know if they can do it. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it right. Because there's so few examples of it being gotten right from one to the other.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, the changes I like, just like that. But the hype around it is a lot to get over. You've said to me so many times to watch things, and you're like, I really like it, but I don't want to tell you what I like because I like it. You think you should watch it, but I don't want to tell you it's the best thing because I don't want to overhype something.
Yeah, especially with you. Like if if someone tells you something's great, you immediately be like, oh, okay, I'll tell you why it's not great.
Let me see.
Yeah. I'll tell you why it's not great, motherfucker. It's like it's a job for you. You're like, okay, here we go. You want to play this fucking game? We'll play this fucking game, you motherfuckers. So let's continue here. We're with a recap as we're getting towards the end of this episode. Bill wakes up Frank. He says every day is perfect for you. They have a great day. They get married. It's happy. The lighting is great.
I thought it was dude. It was all so sweet. It was a great montage.
It was a really great.
One of the best.
Yeah, the later montage was really great too. We have dinner. They have a perfect wine meal. Then Bill comes in with a big glass of death wine. And then Frank, he drinks it. He's like, it's a romantic end. Bill reluctantly gives the glass as he asks him if it would be enough. And he says yes. He guzzles that shit down. Bill drinks as well. And then Frank says, hey, why did you put drugs in the bottle too? And he's like, yep, enough to kill.
You bet your ass.
Yeah, enough to kill a horse, as you said earlier, Joe. And he says, I'll be so pissed at you if I didn't think this was romantic. and he says, "Take me to bed," and they go to bed, and that's it, Joe.
I thought, dude, sweetest shit ever. And then I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna wake up. Oh my god, this is gonna be like, this is gonna turn. I had awful thoughts in my head for what was coming. Like,
Right, that he's gonna wake up and like think he killed himself, but he didn't, and he wakes up just still alive and having to deal with the fucking.
and then and like that would explain like how miserable he is. You
Yep.
know, that feel that you get from the game, but like, hey, no,
And
uh
nope, they
I-
swerved
and
you.
it was beautifully done.
Yep,
just absolutely amazing.
they
Loved
get
every second of it. Didn't for me, like, I didn't cry. It's pretty odd. Like, not once. I thought it was all done from start to end so great. I didn't once tear up, well up, get sad about any of it.
I did.
Maybe that's also because I didn't think Bill was going to die.
Right, and it was you were swerved and surprised in that situation. Igor says I thought that too as well, Joe, and Kyle says I thought the same thing as well. As we see a wind of the gate closing, we flash to now when Joel is here and they enter the town. He knows the code. We notice the plants have wilted a little bit, and he kind of knows what's up. The candles are melted down, and the house is dead quiet. Joel is looking around, and Ellie's like, "What the fuck?" And she's asking if they're gone. And this is just a kind of fun scene with the two of them. We see the dinner on the table, and Ellie plays the piano. The music kicks in. It's really intense. She looks around. She finds the key to the car in the envelope. The front door closes, and he calls Ellie. And she shows him the note to whomever, but probably Joel.
So I figured I count as whomever.
Yeah, exactly. So I count.
Little. And he's just like, yeah.
Yep, totally. And so she's dead. So there's a dead letter, and he says, "Should I read it? Or do you want to read it?" And she says, "No, you do it." August 29th, if you find this, don't come into the bedroom. It'll probably be a gross sight. Anyone else, and if this isn't Joel, anyone else will be executed or blown up. Ha 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 ha. Written in the letter. Ha 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 ha.
I thought, and dude, I'm sorry, but I think we heard him giggle like that once in one of the flashbacks. But I got to tell you, I still like. I think that was just for every Nick Offerman fan out there.
Yeah, there's like an inside joke.
That's like his Park and Rec giggle. Like that's his giggle. And like she did it like, I don't know, it sounded like it was, she did it like she was just reading but she did it like him kind of too. I don't know, I thought it was it really got to me, made me laugh. I thought it was cute, made me laugh inside.
Now it says what
and I thought, oh, that's so Nick Offerman's giggle.
Maybe it was a little bit of an inside joke, like the Billy Bats thing from Goodfellas to Casino, and like having Frank having them kill Joe Pesci with bats, having Billy Bats kill him with bats. The code is XYZ. Take what you need. I never liked you, but we're kind of friends, so you're good. I hate you, but the world needs people like us. You have a job and to keep goddamn people safe. I leave you all my weapons to keep. And then Ellie stops, and Joel's like, "What? To keep Tess safe." Ellie doesn't want to read it. He takes the letter and he heads outside for a second. He reads it and then throws it down. He almost gets emotional for a moment, but he holds it inside and he opens up the garage. Oh wait, he opens up the garage and finds the car. The car doesn't have a battery in it, but then he opens up the refrigerator and he sees everything you need to make a battery,
including, and see, here you go. This is you don't make a battery in the game. You don't ever make a battery, but you have to craft things in the game. And so even though we don't see Joel get busy and get crafted and shit, what we do see is the fact that he's essentially just found a manual.
Right, yeah.
And now he knows how to make a battery, right? Like he knows what he needs. He just
skilled up.
He just skilled up, and I really kind of liked that. Also, to that note, the note. she finds the note. She and Joel, you're constantly finding notes, which are flavor
And
in the game, left by long dead people or recently dead people. You also have to find combinations around the place for different safes and things like that. So this is one of those times where she finds a note, and in that note, if you didn't read it, you're not going to know the combination
That's
to the
awesome.
safe that you might find, which is also happens to be the front gate code and the, which he already knew, but also the bunker code, which is the front gate code in reverse.
Now,
right? Like, so that's all straight game shit, and I thought it was really good. On that note, also, I got to say, in last episode, when they went into the museum and the shit crumbled behind them, straight game moment. They can't get out from the way they came in. They got to keep going forward through all the clickers. These small little things, just fantastic if you're really looking for the subtleties of the gameplay and what forces the characters
and
forward in the game as well.
And as you said, you're thinking that it's going to get next week. We're going to get a lot of action and stuff.
So yeah, like I really do.
Well, and we'll definitely talk about that next week. John Haymaker says, Phil, that's Goodfellas. Basically, what I meant was in the movie, Frank Vincent, I think is the actor's name. In the movie Goodfellas, spoiler alerts for Goodfellas and Casino. Frank Vincent is killed by Joe Pesci, and his character's name is Billy Batts. So in Casino, when they kill Joe Pesci's character, in reality, they didn't kill because Casino's based on a real story too. They didn't kill the guy with bats, but they had them kill him with bats as a Scorsese inside joke because Frank Vincent kills Joe Pesci with a bat when his character's name in Goodfellas was Billy Batts. So it's sort of like an little subtle inside joke that Scorsese put in there to just give Billy Batts his revenge, essentially, and kill Pesci with a bat in Casino. So that's what I meant. I didn't explain it right. Slim says next week will be intense. The bleachers part would have been hard to film, and you can't introduce bloaters yet. Great acting by Pedro, holding that in all around. Great acting this episode. Song, that's exactly the part I'm talking about. Great stuff.
I agree, Kyle. Exactly. I think with they haven't. Correct, Kyle. I think it's a great point.
And
I didn't say that already. It would have been much tougher to do, and it sits to hold that off for later on. And yeah.
So let's just zip through the end of the episode here. I leave you all with your weapons to keep Tess safe. He goes outside. As I mentioned, he kind of holds his emotions in. He finds the battery in the fridge, and as Joe said, he skills up. Joel asks Ellie to see her arm again. He's like, listen, I'm going to bring you with me, but if I bring you with me, there's 3 rules. Do what I say when I say it.
Completely in there. Completely in the game. Completely in the game. The 3 rules.
Don't show anybody that fucking shit because they'll kill you.
Don't talk about your history. In fact, neither one of us are going to talk about it. Don't talk about tests. Don't talk about any of our history.
Don't talk about your tests. Don't tell anybody about your arm, and do exactly what I say.
Yep.
And I'm bringing you to find my brother in Wyoming. They head in the bunker, and it's crazy. She says Bill's a genius. She grabs some canned food, nothing dented. And she takes a bunch of TP, and
she tells him to go take a fucking shower.
Right, because she feels that there's hot water, and she's like, "I'm taking a shower." She finds a wall of guns, like this dude is the father from Family Ties in Tremors. Like he's just got the wall, the guy I'm talking about,
Yeah.
the walls of guns and shit. And
Mr. Keaton.
Mr. Keaton, yeah, Mr. Keaton. And he's amazing in those Tremors movies. And she's taking a shower, or Billy Rosewood from Beverly Hills Cop 2. And she's taking a shower because she's stinky, and she tells him to take a shower. He hands her deodorant. They both showered and look pretty. She's fucking with everything, like interacting with everything around. She's in a car for the first time, and she's like, it's like a fucking spaceship.
Question for the audience.
Yep.
So
Tom P.
She goes into the box and she pulls out the clothing. She pulls out the red shirt. I got a little chills, and then she puts it on. She looked so much more like Ellie dressed like that. Also, I gotta say, there's a big part in the like you collect clothes and you can change your outfits in the game too. So that's kind of cool.
Really cool. And we do have a new emoji for our channel members. We have both Ellie and Joel from the game and Ellie and Joel from the show emojis that we're at, as well as our, and I'm just throwing them in the chat right now. They're Joe Dirty Locks, Cheech and Chong, Shit Buddies, Phil the Issues Guy, Paulie Walnuts, and our two Last of Us emojis right now. If you become a channel member, you can use those silly motherfuckers. So he looks so cool with his hair slicked back. And she's like, this is a spaceship. And again, we talked about this before. Before Joe, like with the airplane.
Chevy S10 Blazer.
Yep, it should work. And is that the kind of car that they drive in the game too? Is it a shitty Chevy?
It's a shitty pickup truck, yeah. I don't know if it's a Chevy. I don't know if they could have said a Chevy or a Ford.
And then Ellie is flipping through the stations in the radio, and we get the Linda Ronstadt on the radio, and Joel's like, stop, I like this song. And she goes, it's better than nothing. And they drive off, and we fade to the back with Bill's house in the background. We open the window, and I love how we didn't get to see the bodies. The way they just like stretch the camera into the window of the room, and the air just blows through the window.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay,
Pesci. Okay, Pesci. Come on camera, Pesci. So, what are you hiding?
You've finished. So the game, one of the game menu screens is a open window. Just fucking like that. And when you finish the game, you beat the game, you get a switchblade that's like kind of stuck into the windowsill and leans up against the frame of the window. And I don't know, very reminiscent of that frame, of the menu frame from the games.
And just to add another point, Peggy in the live chat adds also Joel got a shirt that looks more like his game counterpart as well. And Kyle's father in the live chat, Kyle's father to the band. That's the loading screen. Love the ending. We got John Haymaker. That's Joe. Joe becomes occasionally on the podcast. Joe becomes Leo Getz. Whatever you want, Leo Getz. Okay. So Joe, I know you're eager to watch the episode again. Everyone, if you have any last minute questions or comments,
it's your fault. You guys were talking about Pesci first.
Okay.
I made it almost through the whole stream without an.
Okay, Joe. Okay. So great episode of The Last of Us, Joe. Next week's episode, just one more time on that. You're anticipating more action next week?
Oh God, next week I'm anticipating an arrival in Philadelphia, and very quick off the start, an arrival in Philadelphia, and then action from that point on through the end.
Okay, so we will be.
And I'm going to say, I think the scene that was missing for the introduction of Bill in the game is going to be played out with the introduction of two other people at the
Joe.
Tail end of the episode, meeting two new characters.
Before Joe and I give our scores on the side butthole ranking scale here, and how many out of 10 where we would include this one, we asked the poll of the audience, episode 3, ? Our choices were fuck this episode, not bad, meh, very good and well done, amazing, I'm not crying, you're crying. And that doesn't mean you had to cry, but and winning tonight is 43% of the people said amazing, I'm not crying, you are. 24% in number 2, very good, well done. Right down here the list from our choices. 20% said not bad, and 12% of the votes were fuck this episode. And our poll was 188 people voted tonight. Thank you to all the people that voted in our poll tonight. You guys are fucking awesome. Joe, out of 10, what do you rank this episode tonight? I think for me, this is another 8.5 out of 10. This is maybe even a 9. I'm between 8.5 and 9.
See, it's damn near a perfect episode for me, because it's just all new stuff and enough of those little things that I mentioned.
Is this your first 10 out of 10? As the Double Toasted guys say, better than sex? 10 out of 10, better than sex kind of episode?
No, it's not. Not necessarily because, Bill didn't turn around to Joel and say, I don't need your help. I can do whatever I want to fucking do. But thanks for pointing out the corroded shit. And
Yeah, give us your scores in the live chat. Throw it in there.
Because of I'm going to shoot at all these guys from the middle of the street, not undercover, not from like a rooftop, not from like any of these like you'd think as a prepper he would have made like sniper nests all over the place for him to take. Right? Like just that he had time. He has the supplies, tools.
We're getting a lot of 10s in the live chat before Joe gives his score. Korg Dogs.
That's the only thing. 9.
9. You give it 9?
I give it a 9.
9.
It can't be
okay, I'm going with you. Okay. I'm up in mine from an 8.9. I'm going 9 with you, Joe. I'm peer pressuring this up to a 9. Maud Mary says 9 out of 10. Korg Dog says one of the best written episodes of any show ever. Sonic Boy says 10. Kyle says 10. Luna says 10. Slim says 6 out of 10. John Haymaker says 10. Igor says 8.89.
And from the Far East judge, 8.89.
And the French judge gives a 6.10 out of 10. They are tough judges. Oh my goodness, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You guys have been amazing. On the way out, if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you come back next week to join us again for another episode of The Last of Us. I will be on as well on Thursday evening at around 6:30 p.m. with Big Matt talking about the final 2 episodes of The Sopranos Season 3, and then I'll be back next week here with Joe Dirty Locks after the episode
Have you
airs.
ever had our sausages?
I want my sausages, pussy. Give me my pussy.
Have you ever had our sausages?
Listen, pussy. You eat those sausages, you motherfucker.
Have you ever had our sausages?
Have a good night, Joe. Joe needs some alcohol. Love you guys. Talk to you next time. Peace. Ah!